Come on in, one and all, as we bring you forward where everybody takes place center stage on pay-per-view from the Western Coast as Stardom, New Japan, CMLL, and AEW opens forward the Forbidden Door, which may not be forbidden, but either way, we welcome in so much more. And this is City Predicting episode number 175, AEW Forbidden Door. Welcome into the discussion. Hello, everybody, and welcome back here once again to another edition of Simply Predicting. You know what this is, for I am the simple man of the simple brand, the voice of for great for all professional wrestling. Damn it. And my name is Noel Foster. So thank you all for tuning in, whether live or on demand. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. If you want to dictate the conversation, super chat or pay by the patch. It's as simple as that. And of course, your opinions and predictions matter too. As we talk about matches, I will be sure to bring them up in the comments as you bring on topic thoughts forward. And of course, you can get your predictions in as I shared the form of my social media and all across each of the Simple Studios respective channels you are seeing here on YouTube. If you haven't already, subscribe to each one of the day and let the world know what we do here at SR Studios 2024 and predictions, interviews, shenanigans, and watch-alongs too. With that being said, it's a simple batty panel tonight with the simple man and the bat. So she's yours, she's mine, she's our Canadian friend, Ash, and she's a pro wrestling fan. Ash, boss, how are you? And are you ready for this Sunday for the Forbidden Door?
Oh boy, what quite the crowd we got. And this was just set up last week.
Right? Most of them were anyway, but you're not wrong.
True, yeah. It's like Tony comes and like, oh shit, I got a pay-per-view to do this upcoming Sunday. I gotta get the freaking match card ready before it's too late.
Yeah, and speaking of better late than never, look at this guy bringing his graceful entrance. What do you think this is, a WPL lead? But I'll acknowledge him because I appreciate him as always. While you are the bat, he is our social media, our brand ambassador. He is the Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams, making it just in time. It almost shut the door closed. Hello, JJ. How are you this evening?
I am doing well. Good to see you guys. Good to be here. I apologize for being just a few minutes late, finished up my interview with Royal Prestige. And then, we were kind of hanging out, talking to one half of them after the show, Tavon Jordan. I wanted to clip. We were crashed, y'all, by Dragon Kai. So some shit went down. As a result, the Boys of Symphony emailed me, and Royal Prestige will be defending their titles against Dragon Kai July 11th at the Free For All show in Nashville as a result of what transpired during our interview. So was trying to get the clip all set so I could send it to the boys so they could use it for marketing and promoting of the match. And once it's saved, then I did my hard reset, because you know how sometimes I lose connectivity if I'm on too long. And then I immediately came. So,
well, appreciate you as always. And again, I hope that everyone enjoys the festivities. And a shout out to Safet, Matt Helms, and Dave. Oh, hey, Dave. I thought you were part of No DQ. Oh, wait, they didn't do one. Well, I have no problem inviting you in. I mean, hey, Forbidden Door, why not bring in literally a no DQ panelist? It's my freaking forum, damn it. I'll get you the link here shortly if you can do it. If your bird comes down and you're not going to get the Virtue Award last night, you're more than welcome joining for the first time ever on Simply Predicting, so stand by. But JJ, as always, shout out to Prestige, the Pro Wrestling Symphony, for allowing us to engage with their talent. And I'm glad everyone had a great time, and I hope that they got to tell more of their stories and their upcoming escapades and stuff. So yeah, but without further ado, as we wait for our first time ever fan, and of course you also made, let's also just acknowledge this, because shout out to fellow partners here. Much like AEW's Forbidden Door, our door is not forbidden, neither really is theirs, because sometimes you do get more than in and out of the SR Studios family here, even on City Predicting, because you of course made your debut this past Wednesday on Major Push Wrestling. So shout out to Papagino at the Papagino Network, of course, allowing us to take part in his forum, as he just recently broke over 30 episodes. And again, you can find him as co-moderator of No DQ at times and meet him break it down and predictably break down. And we'll be doing that after this pay-per-view concludes, as well as for the Fed show too. Shout out, by the way, to the 23 of you so far that have gotten your predictions in, including but not limited to Charlene, the Mad General, Jerry Slaughter, Draco, Harold, Con Andrew. I recognize that name. Shout out to my Ohio brother. And so many others as well. Thank you, by the way, Lex, my ATW fam, all the crew from across the world. Steve-O, I recognize that name. The Rocket, David Joseph, and Dwayne Atkinson, Corey. Thank you, everybody. Mark Griffith, my horseman. So, again, thank you, everybody, for your patronage, participating, and engaging. And before we get into things, for the first time ever in Sleep Addicting history, it is my humble pleasure to bring in Birdman, not Harvey Dent or Harvey Blank. Dave Scheffler. Hi, Dave. How are you? Welcome to Sleep Addicting for the first time ever.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. It's good to see you, JJ. Good to see you, Noah. Good to meet you, Ash. And thank you. And the birds, I'm just relaxing over there, so he's quiet.
And we'll see how long that lasts, because we all know a bird, when they have something to say, they'll let you know what they have to say. But this should be
Because the bird is the
fun.
Word.
Well,
The bird is the word.
Yes. In one word, yes. On the X, it's dead, and I stand by that. Oh, we're in for a fun night. I could already tell. All right, without further ado, we got a fantastic foursome. We got a unique conglomeration here for the first time ever. I'm looking very forward to what could be my favorite episode of Sleep Addicting ever. So, Sleep Addicting community, professional wrestling fans, all elite fleet, global fans galore, casual and hardcore, sickos in sight. Without further ado, let's get into it tonight. So again, folks, this is AEW Forbidden Door, and you can watch the pay-per-view as well via the following providers on HBO Max here in the States or Prime Video in select markets. There's also My AEW, Datsun, and as you see, other forums as well, as apparently Safet's also joining in the fray. We will be covering the pay-per-view live this Sunday. It would actually be me and Ash. As far as the 0 hour, to be determined who's doing that or if we are doing that, because again, in Sleep Addicting and No DQ leagues, we focus primarily on the main card. But the other form of my heart is an advocate as to women's professional wrestling. We're going to acknowledge the 0 hour here and give some simple thoughts. With that being said, we got a wild 9 main card to predict tonight and 2 matches on the 0 hour to tap into for a little bit. So let's get started. What did you say?
I said for now. They'll probably add something else on Collision.
He's being very better at that. You stop it.
Make it a
All
13.
right, you stop.
There's at least going to be one more 0 hour buy-in match.
Shut it, JJ.
We got Collision yet. We got Collision, remember?
We need to get the TV title, the New Japan TV title on the card.
Let me ask, before we get started,
wait,
let me ask this one question.
All right, fine.
Is anybody else miffed that Persephone is defending the CMLL title on Collision and not on Forbidden Door?
Yeah. That could have been a 0 hour
hindsight.
match.
Yeah, you can replace another match with that match, I'm sure. If you look at the 9.
Yeah, well, it's like we talked
You
about.
get rid of the Young Bucks.
Well, Saturday Shenanigans hype, but again, that's a whole different conversation. And speaking of CMLL, speaking of which, we got our own Latino joining in the fray just in time. One half of the MVPs, the VIPs, and the Dominguez. Emmanuel made it on time. Emmanuel, how are you this evening as we get ready for the Forbidden Door? Good grief. I got Canada, Mexico, Florida, California. I got everything here.
It wouldn't be a Forbidden Door, not like AEW this pay-per-view.
Yeah,
but this is a
conversation. I love this conglomeration that I have right now. This is too much fun.
We're gonna get at least one more.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna get the other half of the Canadian connection.
Oh Lord. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, as a producer, if he's out of line towards a certain Canadian territory, click. All right, that being said, let's get the frick right into this thing. As I said, we're going to acknowledge the buy-in, talking about these 2 matches that are taking place. One with AEW Women's World Championship implications, tag team. The other one with future AEW Championship implications for a TV title. Because announced tonight and also last night on Dynamite, Sky Blue gets one more chance towards glory, towards the TBS title. Much to the fact that her man held the TNT Championship, she has one last chance to maybe go after the TBS in the short run for survival of the fittest. If she overcomes Stardom's strongest, Micah, former World of Stardom champion, as well as former leader of Empress Nexus Venus, before that group diminished, and of course, called her in Ring of Honor last week in Cincinnati. Along with this match will also be the Divine Dominion, who has accepted Thunder Rosa's open challenge, not for 5 minutes, but for the titles, much like Ty got the chance to Double or Nothing and blew it. But she called in from CMLL, Olympia, one of the strongest and one of the brightest young up-and-comers there out of that promotion. As for those that tune into Ring of Honor, thank you so much. Olympia, strong showing, but the virtuosa, long may she freaking reign, because I see the marker. She is still Ring of Honor pure champion and undefeated. But Olympia and Thunder Rosa have a fair share of history, both as competitors and tag partners. And Olympia previously faced Megan Bayne in singles action earlier this year. So I'm looking forward to 3 Colossos and one of the all-time trailblazers across Tijuana in this matchup as well. Let's go around the horn and get some brief thoughts towards these 2 matches that will be on the Forbidden Door buy-in. And again, folks, you can watch that across all AEW platforms on their 0 hour, as you see right there. Okay, so for those that don't know, especially to Dave, who might be new to the forum, but has been in the chat multiple times, the way the thing works is like this. Someone starts off with a thought and a prediction, then we go on the horn and see who agrees or disagrees. If there is a polarizing argument, that person may speak. Based on the size of the card with its quantity and quality, that's the way we're going to run Phase 9 until we get to the marquee matches, which I think we all can agree have to involve the World Championships and the Owens. With that being said, let's acknowledge the women here, because damn it, they're worth it. So, speaking of which, because I finally have a lady for the first time here on Something Predicting that could actually give us a perspective, damn it, with all due respect to our good outlook, well, some better than others. Hi, Ash. What's your thoughts towards these 2 matches here? Micah, who may be on like more of a excursion here in the States, Sky Blue, who wants to really carry AEW forward, and the fact that Divine Dominion have absolute domination right now over the AEW Women's Tag Team division. What are your thoughts towards these 2 matches and your simple picks?
So for Sky Blue and Micah, this is Sky Blue's last chance, and I don't see Micah making it. I think this is just like a one-off because it ties in with the Forbidden Door concept, because her being from Stardom and Sky Blue being an AEW contracted wrestler. I think Sky Blue is taking it because I don't see how Micah would be able to come in, especially because Stardom has their tournament going on right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Star Grand Prix starts in July.
Yeah, so I don't think if she has in that tournament, it would conflict with her other tournament. So I think Sky Blue is winning this. As for the Divine Dominion, I don't see them losing those tag titles anytime soon. I think the latest we'll see them is at All In, possibly against the other tag team that they've been building up towards.
Other tag team they've been building up towards, or maybe postponing to build up towards. Just saying. But I do see what you think, because I have a certain person in mind. Just saying. And she's a cheeky Brit.
I mean, Brit is the word, right?
Well, again, in certain areas, in other areas, it's dead. And I stand by that. Don't start with me. All right. With that being said, Ash is at the ballot.
I got you guys.
Yeah, we know. Shut it, JJ. So we start the ballot at Divine Dominion and Sky Blue. Yes. Does anyone have a disagreement regarding either of those matches before we move into the main card? Going one there. JJ? Really?
I completely agree with Divine Dominion. That's not the issue. And I love me some Sky Blue. But the TBS title is being decided this coming Wednesday in San Diego.
Yes.
So if the All-Star Grand Prix doesn't start until July 11th, you said?
The 5-star Grand Prix.
5-star Grand Prix. Then Micah can still participate in that match on Wednesday and then catch her flight back to Japan to start that tournament.
July 18th, by the way, for those that don't know. And the 30 participants have been confirmed, and Micah, of course, is part of the field.
So I love me some Sky Blue. But she lost her spot in the Owen. Do you really think they're going to throw her in this? You know, they need some representation. If everybody from Stardom loses, what's the good in having the partnership? Got to throw somebody a bone here. And I don't think it's going to be Starlight Kid beating Thekla.
Talk more about that later.
So I think Micah getting the dub here is a fair shout.
All right. I do like the fact, though, that you are definitely trying to include more interpromotional showcasing for Stardom on the regular product. And to your point, Survivor the Fittest, you already have Persephone, Hikaru Shida, Chris Statlander, Queen Aminata, Harley Cameron, this is the last spot. But Sky Blue,
Mhm.
again, her husband is a former TNT champion. Why can't the missus follow maybe in the steps? And Sky Blue has been waiting for that moment towards gold, and this gold particularly for quite a long time. I saw her literally face Chris Statlander here live in my hometown. We saw her involved in that trip at Phil Gear, ironically enough, on the West Coast. Thanks to Julia Hart being involved in that and that double team effort against Chris Statlander, where she wasn't even involved in the decision. Sky Blue was the one freaking pinned by Julia Hart that led to Julia Hart winning the TBS championship. And again, Triangle Madness is alongside Thekla and Julia Hart, who also was bounced out of Survival of the Fittest, JJ, by Persephone, when she knocked the mist out of her mouth. Who's to say the Triangle Madness doesn't follow Thekla in this escapade of depth to Stardom, and they stick it to Stardom again with one of Stardom's strongest, eliminating Micah here. It might lead to something else with Stardom and literally AEW when it comes to Triangle Madness, especially after what Thekla did last week at the conversion. So what I love about this match, it kind of can go either way. So I do like the fact you brought up that point, but I feel like Sky Blue deserves this opportunity. Speaking of opportunities, and the opportunities of being stupid tonight are very slim with me with this Sutter Canadian. You've been warned, mister. Let's go ahead and welcome in the other half of the Canadian Connection, as JJ called in.
It did.
So this should be very interesting. I'll put the Canadians above each other, the better one above the other. That
But
being said,
to your point, I agree that Sky Blue deserves this opportunity, and she is dual contracted, but we have CMLL representation in Survival of the Fittest with Persephone. That's why I think the last spot should be filled by a Stardom person, because the
Fair
other
enough.
4 people are all AEW.
all right, well, fair enough. Well, I like that. I like the fact that you did add a different thought towards the TBS Survival of the Fittest, and in continuity, it can make a lot of sense either way. Either way, though, I still think Sky Blue, give it a chance, see what happens, and Divine Dominion, all hail. All right, well, that being said, before we move on into things, Nick, how are you this evening?
I'm good. I got to see my first ever promo battle live in person, and it was like absolutely phenomenal.
Good
We'll
stuff.
talk about it more later. It was really cool. The only thing better than seeing that would be AEW trying to be in Winnipeg, and I don't know.
Nick, don't start.
Oh, I'm sorry. He had to leave. Please stand by here on the Canadian area code after the beep, and we'll see if he returns to the forum. I warned you, mister.
Hello?
Seriously.
Anybody there?
That's strike one. All right. That being said, 3 strikes still applies Canadian.
Yeah, this is simply predicting. All I do is bring up comments. Next time he may kick you for good, bro. So
shit.
leave the Winnipeg Manitoba slander for shenanigans.
Oh, I didn't think there was any. I don't know anybody here. We don't know anybody here that's from Manitoba. So I don't know. What do you, honey? I'm not a dick. God damn
Your wife, I agree with your wife, Andrea. You are a dickhead.
I think the world agrees right now. But
you're the best, Ash. You're great. Don't ever change.
Nice job with the brownie points. Now shut your face. All right, moving on. Let's go into the main card now. Good opening thoughts on the women's contest. Let's get right into the thick of things and what's most important here at Forbidden Door. Much like Double or Nothing is the Owen Hart Foundation tournaments. And as we know, we have both the women and the men. And the winner of this year's Owen Hart Foundation tournaments, they go all in. So let's start with what could be a Cinderella story. Ironically enough, the women's match kicked things off at Double or Nothing in 2024. I can see it in the opener here because, again, I don't think nobody had Maya World and Mercedes Moné on their match card list. But what turned into tragedy that has come a strength in itself that could lead to ultimate triumph is a very realistic possibility here, considering Sabre, the sun god, she unfortunately couldn't vacate the spot due to a back injury. And, of course, Maya World stepped up to the plate. Much to JJ's point, she made her way through the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, being Sky Blue, and her teacher, Athena. From her teacher to literally her idol, in her own words. That's a rough idol, though, I'm just saying. Mercedes Moné, of course, coming to a more humbler version of her theme. No humility, though, on this CEO's demeanor as of late. Came in after beating Alex Windsor, and, of course, bounced Suzuki out of the tournament in 2 very hard-fought matches. So, once again, we find ourselves with last year's Women's Owen Hart Foundation tournament winner, defending the one title she has left as the CEO lost her entire portfolio over the last calendar year. much to one particular person on the panel, I'm sure, would say to the wrestling business's benefit. And to a degree, he's probably right. Either way, no Thomas Tony Storm, no Saray, a toxic spider right now at the fray. One of these two women is going to Wembley Stadium no matter what. So let's go around the horn and see who we all think is going to win this year's Women's Owen Hart Foundation Tournament. The CEO or the It Girl? Maya World or Mercedes Moné? One goes and one stays in the States. All right, let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this. And since we have a full panel, this is a marquee match. Everyone will say their piece, and we are just going to start things off here counterclockwise. So right below me. Hi, Emmanuel. Let's start with you. Mercedes Moné or Maya World? Who you got going to Wembley Stadium?
Since I'm much of a Mercedes Moné hater, I would say Maya World. But I know Tony Khan. This will not happen. So I'm not going to pay my Mario card yet, which you can buy now at JJ's shop. Your only Mario Kart shirt, your own sticker, your own...
Yes.
But
All right.
But nevertheless, let's talk about the match. Mercedes Moné is going to has to win this. Sadly, she's going to dethrone Thekla. It's not what I want. There's a reason why Tony Khan paid so much for Mercedes Moné. Like, and she doesn't win it. Like, then what's the point of wasting all that money to her bank just for her to lose this match? And the redemption arc gets postponed. Like, I don't know how long we want to postpone it for, but it's just like, no offense to Maya World, but Maya World's not gonna fill in those seats for the next pay-per-view. Just saying that as much.
All right, fair enough. Thank you for that, Emmanuel. And yeah, I don't blame him. It's red hot in California. It has to be red hot on Sunday, so it's all good. I don't mind the fan thing, especially when it means you got to sustain yourself. JJ, of course, had to do that during NXT predictions. What does that tell you? It's probably hot as hell in the Midwest, too. All right, well, thank you, Emmanuel. That being said, he set the balance as CEO. He invested in her for All In. All right, Nick. Now, you've been very vocal about your quote-unquote, what might as well be your catchphrase, it doesn't make sense. Try making sense, Canadian or American, out of this, and who do you got winning this tournament going All In, regardless who has the AEW Women's World Championship? Because much like we're talking about the Men's Championship, I do think there's a certain chance that we might not see Thekla on that marquee if a different person that might be the same type of attitude is also on the marquee. Just saying. But go ahead, Nick, and your Foster's this. Your winner.
I'm gonna go. Okay, so if you guys saw my Joey Styles of Dynamite this past Wednesday,
Good on you.
yeah, it was great, and I said I had problems with the women's Owen, and I still do. There's a lot of things that I think have gone wrong with the women's Owen, especially with the people that are involved. With that being said, I have Maya World winning. Because it just, again, we are in the business of creating new stars. We're in the business of telling week-to-week stories. It's no secret with my views on AEW and wrestling in general. It hasn't been there. The product hasn't been something that you really want to invest your time in. And I've always said, at least for 2026, and we'll kind of talk about it at the end of 2026, going into 2027, I asked, what do I want to see from AEW this year? I want to see Tony have fun with his booking. Give me something. Give me stories that are going to make me invest my time into it. Give me week-to-week television that I'm not going to be bored out of my mind with. Having Maya World truly sets up a story where it's about the underdog. A woman who had no business being in this tournament, wasn't even, she was a replacement. She had to replace an injured Saray. She was nowhere near this tournament. So the fact that her coming in and getting to the finals I feel like you'd stifle her if she loses. Take this all the way. Go all the way with it. Have her listen. Let's call a spade a spade. The women are not main eventing All In. Point blank, it's not happening. There's a bigger match in play. So if that's the case and they're not main eventing the show, Maya World can be there. Let her give her for everything that she's gone with her brother. God rest his soul. Prayers to her. And what she had to go through with that. It's not easy losing a family member. And then kind of where she came from, being thrust into a position where another person burnt their bridges. Give her this moment. Reward her. This doesn't mean, though, Mercedes can't win the title somewhere else. And this is not a shot anywhere, but we still have a pay-per-view in between All In and Forbidden Door. So, with all that being said, I have Maya World winning. I think Tony's gonna shock the world with this one. Give her the underdog story. Make a new star, because that's what we're in the business of doing.
Wow. Already we got 1-1. I love it. Okay. And again, very strong points. All right. Well, Dave, time for your mind to shine. Welcome to City Predicting. You're literally right now bringing the ballot before we go to JJ. I'm very curious if Dave and JJ somehow could have the same wavelength here based on their seasoned wrestling experience as fans. So, Dave, what do you think about this year's Women's Own Up Edition tournament, and who do you have winning? Both sides is a very compelling point. You got a OMG Cinderella story moment here where tragedy turns into ultimate opportunity that she chose for herself when Tony Khan, again, literally presented, but only if you felt comfortable in doing it. She told her that professional wrestling is the strength that her little brother literally encouraged in her. While Mercedes Moné, she's been looking for the big one since arriving in AEW and has yet to go her way. Heck, she went All In last year, and it was her first freaking loss. And she had everything going for her. And then since then, she's done nothing but went bankrupt. So, Dave, what do you think?
Well, first of all, I want to say hi to Nick and Emmanuel. It's the first time meeting you, gentlemen. Nick had great points. Now, this is what could happen and what I think will happen. Basically, not only that, but if Maya would win, it would also take, even though it's an unofficial belt, it would take the last belt that Moné has, too.
Yes.
And then she could go back at Redemption, and Maya would have a short title reign, because that would be the place where Moné can win it, and then still go to All In. However, knowing Tony and knowing his booking, I don't think he put Mercedes in this match to lose the Owen Hart. I think Mercedes will win, but I think Maya really should win and continue her story, and as Nick said, God rest her brother, and then make Moné win it at Redemption to redeem herself. But I just somehow think he's not going to wait. I think he's going to not pull that trigger. I think Mercedes will win.
All right. 2 Mercedes, 1 Maya. Let's go ahead and see what the predicting community thinks so far that's submitted the form. And again, your predictions, folks, they're final 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday night, not a minute later. Looks like right now it is almost 3-1 in favor of, hi, JJ, how fitting, the CEO. Right now, 73% are going with Mercedes Moné, while the rest are going with Maya World. Now, for those that don't know, if this is your first time tuning in, this certain individual on the far right here has also had a very colorful analysis on one Mercedes Moné. And I'm sure he will bring that forward as well. But he also has a very unique outlook on Maya World, who we've seen the growth of since Mission Pro and Reality of Wrestling before she became All Elite alongside High-End. And High-End and Maya World are going to main event prior to freaking Forbidden Door against Athena Mercedes Moné this Saturday on Collision. Might be up for telling of things, just saying. By the way, kudos to what both those women have done so far. So, JJ, what do you think here? We got 2 for Moné and 1 for Maya World. Where do you stand in this?
Do I go with my heart or do I go with my head?
That's literally what predictions come down to sometimes, my friend.
because my heart says Maya World. My heart says let the young upstart defeat her idol, take away the last championship belt that she has yet to lose, let her crash out. You know, do I see Maya World beating Thekla for the title at All In? No. But to the point I think that Dave made, that doesn't mean they can't run it back at Redemption, and Mercedes can get her redemption there.
Exactly.
You know, and begin her quest. You know, I mean, what's the time limit on an Owen match traditionally?
No time limit. There must be a winner.
Okay. Because I was going to say, what if it goes to the time limit? It has to be a winner, and Maya World wins in the overtime. And that's why we run it back at Redemption.
You'd be calling for the longest women's match in AEW history, though, if that was the case.
This is probably accurate, but if there's somebody that can hang with Mercedes, I think Maya can. Because to your point, I've seen her come up. I've seen her progression. I've seen her escalation through the ranks. You know, much like we followed the ascension of one Busta and the Brain, we've kind of been there for a similar journey with Maya World.
As I have with Hyan.
So if I'm in Las Vegas and I'm putting $100 down, I'm betting on Mercedes. But this is simply predicting. I've got Maya fucking World.
Stand by your convictions, my friend. That's all I got to say about that. All right. And that being said, 2-2. Hi, Ash.
Hi.
So, Ash, what do you think about this whole thing with the AEW Women's World Championship? Of course, we look at the cause and effect, and we'll talk more about that later. It's really up in the air what the outlook of the AEW Women's World Championship is going to be, not just to All In, but really after. I felt like if Timeless Tony Storm wasn't bloody murdered, it'd be a whole different conversation right now. Here I'm pretty more definitive, because I almost feel like we were waiting to write that scene all over again for the bug killing. But that's a whole different conversation for another reality in black and white.
So to be fair, the next pay-per-view is called Redemption, right? Do you think Tony Storm gets a redemption there? That's when we find out who murdered her, or is that too early?
I mean, Revenge, Ascension, Redemption, they all could play, and and we still don't know. Mina's still on the hunt for the assailant. As far as we know, it's not her. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, this can go either way, because I've been impressed with Maya World, especially during the tournament, because having her win it would be just such a beautiful Cinderella story. However, with that being said, Mercedes Moné does really well in tournaments, and this is her last belt she has to lose. But I just said Spafford is I don't see her losing the tournament, though. I see her winning and using her belt to go all in. And I know a lot of people are thinking, like, well, what if Thekla retains that? Like, what if Thekla goes in all in at the champion? But who's to say? If maybe I'm looking too far ahead, but there's a possibility Thekla might not even be champion going into all in. So we can get Mercedes Moné to a different opponent. So as much as I would love to see like Mercedes Moné spiral out of control and lose the title, I don't see her losing this title. This is the one title she's keeping and using that to transition into possibly becoming champion. So I have Mercedes Moné win the tournament.
So you got a 2-time consecutive Owen Hart Foundation tournament winner. You see what Blake Monroe basically did, cashing in on this opportunity and actually winning the women's championship again.
As a possibly, yes. I can see that happening. Yeah. Okay. It all depends on who the champion going into All In is. But with that being the case, I still have Mercedes winning the tournament.
Okay, so 3 Monés, 2 Mayas. My thing is this: what does Redemption do to be a roadblock towards either the winner of the Owen or the world champion? In this case, for the women, looking at Thekla's track record of people she's beaten, and looking at her current escapade to really stick it to her former employer, but also looking at Mercedes Moné's Japanese history. It's one of those things where I almost want to go bold on the women's world title, and we can kind of cause an effect probably into that because, duh, that's what this affects. But it's just one of those things right now. Again, 5-Star Grand Prix also coming up, and I believe Starlight Kid is also involved in that. That I just don't know right now who I see carrying the women's division beyond All In. It's almost one of those things that right now I wish somehow, some way it was Alex Windsor or Jamie Hayter, but I do think there's a different plan for those brawling birds, if you catch my drift. Both proud countrymen as well, by the way. But also with that in mind, Maya World, again, capture lightning in a bottle. This business is built on a foundation of moments, and it's created out of the opportunities you present with the talent that you have. It's one of those things, to Nick's point, that this could be an incredible, unbelievable, unpredictable thing that we're dealing with here. Much like Queen Aminata's rise for quite a little while that we saw on Dynamite while Jamie Hayter was out injured. And now she's kicking ass and possibly going to become TBS champion. But it's also one of those things with Mercedes Moné. Again, if she doesn't win this, you really think she's going to go back after the TBS championship? You really think she's going to find a tag team partner? Maybe her and Athena go after the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships when they both wanted to take over. Do you really think there's any other route for Mercedes Moné to pursue than the AEW Women's World Championship? It's the only thing she has left to do. It's the only thing she hasn't done. So it's one of those things about the last accomplishment to fulfill or first accomplishment to be fulfilled. And right now, well, considering I'm also in the lead, and I do think AEW likes to go a little bit bolder than some other places, especially under these special scenarios where they showcase more younger talent. I've already seen the way that she captured Athena. I can see her doing the same thing to Mercedes Moné. I'm going to capture lightning in a bottle on this one. I'm going to say that Myra wins it. She's made me bought into it. She's made me believe it. And like you said, redemption could be an arc that changes the narrative. It's about what you do right now versus what it leads to in the end of fulfillment. I got Maya World. I think she's going to surprise Mercedes Moné, much like Moné beat Jamie Hayter last year with surprise roll-up, by the way. It wasn't like she knocked her the F out or made her tap out. I think Maya's going to upset Moné to the point she's going to make a mistake, capture for the pin, run off, much like Mercedes Moné, and claim the accomplishment. I'm going with Maya World winning this year's Owen Hart Foundation tournament for the women. Nick, I do see your hand before we move on. What you got to say real quick? And Charles, good to see you in the chat. You're also muted. Botch.
Yeah, Botch. I just want to point out because I was listening to a little bit of the Forbidden Door media call. And kind of looking about it online. And I got a quote that I just want to present to everybody. Who knows? This might change people's perception. I this is coming from Wrestle Purists on Twitter. Shout out to them because they do some great work. And they go on to say in this tweet that Tony Khan praised Maya World as someone who's been working hard and is eager to take every opportunity in AEW. Tony on the media call noted that Maya was offered time off and everybody would understood, obviously for the reasons we've already said.
Yes.
But you wanted to go to work. So taking it in that perspective, and this is why I said this is something that you only get this once. This only happens once. And the fact that this woman, this young lady, her family member passed away tragically. And instead of taking time off to be with her family and grieve like a lot of us would, she said, no, fuck that. I'm going to work. And she went to work. You know what I mean? Like that's just crazy. So that's why, like, I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up to you guys and to see if that changed anybody's mind, whoever said Moné.
All right. Well, looks like everyone's going to stand by their picks here. And also, Charles said Mercedes Moné. And And Emmanuel, I hear your fan. I see your hand up. And shout out to my brother KG King in the chat.
Hey!
Who also has thoughts. He thinks that Mercedes goes back to back because you need big stars at all in. But I wouldn't be shocked if Maya World shocks the world because she's earned it. Keyword earned it versus what you stand for in the business. And Dwayne, apparently he got sold. He also picked Maya World. Good to see Dwayne in the chat. I love how many people are all in on this because we should be, damn it. Because if nothing else, Maya World deserves it. Has Mercedes Moné earned it? And here he is now. Emmanuel, I hear your fan. Go ahead and speak real quick.
Yeah, it's not that I don't want to pick Maya World because that's what I said in the beginning. I want to pick her, but just logic tells us like otherwise. Because when we have been having this conversation, because yes, that'd be a great story, but like I said, like if it wasn't because of the money that Tony just paid, it's just like that's the only reason why I'm not going for Maya World. If the money was never disclosed and I didn't care, there was no notification how much was she getting paid, I don't think we'd be discussing this. I think we'd be all unanimous saying Maya World because she deserved this win. But since we know now know how much she was offered, then
yeah,
it's like it's kind of obvious. Like you have to get your investment back, like any business would.
Well, at the end of the day, sometimes business does indeed outweigh merit. But I think in this case, we all want to see merit succeed because Maya World has demonstrated it above and beyond anybody's expectations, both in her ability and in her mentality. Those two things alone, in my opinion, already prove that she is beyond worth going after the AEW Women's World Championship, let alone getting this accomplishment. So good luck to both. But Maya World, honestly, I think more people now are literally holding out for you and saying that you don't deserve it. You damn sure are going to earn it, or you should. Good luck to both. All right. Well, as we segue into a shift of discussion here, now we're going to look at something that might ring up awesomeness or maybe a generational mid-card madness or mindset madness, you tell me. As Cajun Cope, hey, look at that, 2 Canadians, and I got 2 Canadians here, how ironic. Cajun Cope defend the AEW Tag Team Champions against the Dogs, Clark Connors and David Finlay, where, again, the chorus veterans here kind of see the Dogs in themselves in a way. They remind them of themselves when they were younger. Straight up, we know how this really came ahead. After Double or Nothing, where Cajun Cope brought back, I still can't believe disposable cameras are a fucking thing in 2026. What the hell? Try to bring back the 5-second pose. The Dogs assaulted them, and they made a shirt out of it and got their own pose, much like the Emmanuel shirt you get at the SR Studio show. Also, damn you. That being said, Clark Connors, David Finlay, they've kind of been going back and forth as of late against Cajun Cope, who came back with a vengeance, assaulting them. To the point they assaulted them backstage during a Young Bucks segment, so it wasn't like you really missed anything. But they did get the better of them using, a wire. And then I think Clark Connors tried to bring back old school Christian Cage with those ugly-ass glasses. Nonetheless, it's Cajun Cope's first defense of the AEW World Tag Team Championships against the very hungry David Finlay Clark Connors, who they're walking for the door to spay and neuter, Bob Barker treatment, or whoever hosts Price is Right up in Canada. I think it's Harry Mandel, who does like a primetime special.
Yeah, so that's the nighttime one. That's the nighttime. We still get regular daytime Price is Right hosted by Drew Carey.
They still can't hold a torch to Bob Barker, but kudos to keeping the IP alive by the shirt. That being said, let's go ahead and pick a Canadian's brand regarding Cajun Cope and see if anyone agrees or disagrees and move on from there. Hi, Nick. So, again, you were on the call on Dynamite last night. If you did solo, by the way, mad respect to you, and I hope everybody supported Nick and enjoyed him. And if his wife got involved or he engaged with his wife during that, I hope they enjoyed that too. Shout out to the Mrs. Ferrantes. Follow her works today. Go buy them. Nick, what do you think about Cajun Cope so far? Now they are the champions. Now they're being hunted by the Dogs. Someone tells me, though, they're about to slaughter them. This is their first defense, but hey, kudos to them taking this opportunity. What do you think about this tag title match and who you got winning?
I mean, it's Cajun Cope, not even a question. This feud is literally, no, it's true. Listen, this feud, the Dog, ever since, and this is one of those things where I shake my head at Tony because the Dogs as a trio they should have had the trios titles already, and he should have
But
been
it
building
did,
the.
and then they lost them.
No,
Dynasty, in Canada.
no.
Yes,
It's a
they did.
fucking travesty. No, they we can go on to a rant about the trios division. Anyways,
Don't do that.
exactly. But regardless, I have Cage and Cope winning. This is just they need to get a win, and this is their first feud in winning, because we're gonna set up what is hopefully a very big summer for the tag team division. You know, it's a new day. It's a new day in AEW.
I see what he's doing.
It's a
I
new
guess
day in AEW. So hopefully not a lot of guns are running around. But, you know, with that being said, Cage and Cope, we're gearing up for something special come All In. So I have them winning.
Oh, there you go. Simple enough. Now, does anyone have a disagreement, or shall I move on? Going once, going twice. Okay. Yeah, I feel like this was a no-brainer. Sometimes predictability really isn't a bad thing, especially if it's a buffer towards a better thing. And I'm on Nick's mindset about there being bigger and better opportunities and things for the tag division ahead, especially if Adam Copeland is due to maybe put up the boots later on at Wrestle Dream in Canada, But again, still speculation, not actuation. Dave, I did see your camera quick. You got something to say?
Yeah, I totally agree. I was going to go exactly where Nick went.
Yeah.
I think it's not only going to be a new day, but there's going to be whether it be 3 or 4 teams, I think we're going to have a nice ladder match at All In. That's going to be very fun to watch. I just have a feeling that's what's coming up.
I have been calling that from the jump. It was
exactly.
I've been saying it was going to be Cage and Cope versus the Bucks versus FTR as the new Hardys, Dudley's, ENC. However, with the news of FTR this week saying that they're taking a hiatus, the Dynamite after Redemption is where, Nick?
Detroit City, Detroit, Michigan.
Yes.
The machine
90
gun
days will be up come the Friday. So I think the machine guns will debut there. Yeah. It'll be Cage and Cope versus the Bucks versus the Guns. And then just to add a little bit of callback, and I said this, I think last night in the space with Carlos. I either said it on the show with Nick or I said it in the space with Carlos. For a little bit of callback, you have the 3 teams in the ring at All In. The match is about to begin. Tony Khan comes out, or somebody comes out to make a big announcement. Another team is going to join you in this match.
Yeah.
And we get some variation of a New Day theme. And it's the New Day coming out to be the 4th. And it's a callback to when they
the
hosted
Hardys
Mania, came out and added the Hardys to the match.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're the team being added instead of being the ones to add the team. So it's a nice little callback, especially since All In is essentially AEW's WrestleMania. It's just still one night instead of 2 nights.
I'm glad it is.
You can't see.
Go ahead, Dave.
And you can't see Cope and Edge losing, or Cope and Christian losing either, because Redemption's in Canada, so they have the titles when they go there anyways.
Well, at least they gotta walk in as champions. It doesn't mean that they can't, lose them there. I'm just saying.
No way.
No way.
Just put it out there. I'm just saying. Just put it out there. How many fades has Canada lost? I'm just saying.
Dude, I'm not saying anything.
Okay. Just to Noah's point, and not to entertain Canada as losers, because when was the last time the Leafs won the Stanley Cup?
1967.
When did the Detroit Tigers actually last won something?
1984, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I was going to say, I think when they made the movie Tiger Town, but that's a whole other thing.
Jesus.
But Redemption, the 90 days would be up by Redemption. So you could, in theory, have the Guns take the belts off of them at Redemption. Then the celebration is in Detroit.
Yeah.
the next night on
Eh.
Dynamite.
Oof.
But I think it would be better to debut him in Detroit, though, because
I
that was
agree.
the one thing where WWE fucked up. Ash talked about that a little bit on Tism. They debuted the Guns somewhere where the Guns didn't have like a home base of fans.
Yeah, and it was quiet when they first came
So
out.
if you debut them in Detroit, that makes more sense.
Yeah, you actually want to hear the Arsenal go off like a 21-gun salute for Pete freaking sake. And Generation Me and the Morrison Machine Guns in a bygone life of what was TNA actually had damn ladder matches.
Good times. Good times.
I just the real question becomes, and you guys know me, when I and Dave, you can agree with me if you know kind of my point of view.
In the middle of the bottom row, by the way, too. This is a unique set.
The way I kind of judge pay-per-views or AEW in general, to those people that don't know, I take it, from that first show coming out of the pay-per-view to the next pay-per-view, and that's how I kind of I generally I judge it based on a block. My question now becomes it's not so much this match, because again, we know you'd be stupid not to say that Cope and Christian are winning.
Well, to be honest with you, you might have somebody in that argument, or they just hit the wrong button or drunk. Believe it or not, it's not unanimous. One person picked the dogs.
Wow. Oh, anyways, I don't know who that guy is. Who? I have no idea.
I don't look at who. I just look at the overall poll.
But the real question becomes, what is Cage and Cope doing at Redemption? We saw them tease last night the Bucks.
Yes.
Do you run Cage and Cope versus the Bucks just singles and that's it at Redemption? And then you have FTR. Again, I know that FTR said that they wanted to take their hiatus, but listen, let's call a spade a spade. People lie all the time. Right? So
oh yeah.
What's to say that FTR doesn't come back from their hiatus and cost the Bucks the titles at Redemption?
I can see it.
Or they could just take out everybody. They could take out everybody and just make it no match at that point too, because they have beefs against both teams.
And there has not been, to my knowledge, a disqualification yet on an AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah, but see, Tony's thing is, and we all know Tony, if he's putting something on a show, you're getting it. It's not that you're not. This isn't a WWE thing where they promote a match and then you don't get it. I think they're gonna get it. Like, if they promote that match, they'll get it. So that's the thing, is what are we doing coming out of this show? Are we doing Bucks and Cope? Bucks and CNC? I would like to see that. Just for the love of God, once this stuff is done with the dogs, I don't want to see any other bottom, not to say that the dogs are bottom feeders, but I don't want to see any. I want to see top quality. We're going to be at a point with this tag team division where we need to see top quality acts, especially if people like the New Day and the Motor City Machine Guns are coming into the company. The tag team division needs to step up now. So I don't want it. Listen, love the dogs. I don't need to see them challenging for the tag team titles. I don't need to see Top Flight. I don't need to see any other Ring of Honor. I don't need to see LFI. I don't need to see Ring of Honor. Let's start getting to the tag division where it needs to be.
Well, you got the person to get back. So I can definitely see business being picked up because they're in the business now of hurting people for money, but it doesn't mean it can't lead to championship glory. JJ, I see your camera before we move on.
See, this was supposed to be a simple conversation. Somebody said Edge and Christian. Everyone agreed we were supposed to move the fuck on.
And then Nick decided to turn it into an analysis. And then here you all guys booking all in. By the way, Tony Khan, JJ, Dave, Nick, they'll work for you for creative, by the way, in case you need more hints.
And to Safet, love you, bro, but that's why we booked the New Day coming in at All In, because 90 days would be over by there. We fucking know they got 90 days. Thank you very much.
I mean, We already knew that, but okay. Way to put him on the spot. Continue.
To counterpoint you though, Nick, I could see Cage and Cope wanting to put over a younger team as the grizzled veterans.
Exactly.
Instead of just giving it back to the Bucks, instead of giving it back to the Machine Guns or giving it back to the New Day. And granted, Cage and Cope never got to have matches with those teams. Get it. But I could see them wanting to put over a Bust in the Brain. I could see them wanting to put over a Rascals. I could see them wanting to put over Infantry.
Yeah.
I could see them wanting to put over a younger team that could be the future, like they were given that opportunity back in 99 and 2000.
Well, this business is all about evolution. So great talk, Nick and JJ, as I restore fans. But this is what happens to predicting, folks. Anything but. Welcome to the conversation, Dave, because sometimes someone has to steer into fantasy booking territory or what if.
Well,
let me just say, Dave.
Well, no, I gotta say.
Let me just say, Dave,
No,
this isn't a no DQ
Yeah.
predictions that's done in an hour. This shit sometimes goes 3 hours.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a
no,
party.
I gotta say, and JJ, really, it wasn't Nick that started that discussion. I kind of made a comment before it, so I'm gonna take the fall for that one.
It's all good. It's all good. At the end of the day, it's still fun. It's wrestling. It is predictions in a way. It just goes beyond literally Sunday night. But as you talk about stepping up, here's a man that literally told all of AEW to keep up. And so far, they have quite to a degree, but very few have continued to keep up. Say what you will about the faction, the Death Friars still demonstrate the hardest nonstop work ethic not named Tony Khan AEW. And there's not a stronger definition than Jon Moxley holding the AEW Continental Championships. Let's talk about this with what everyone, including Nick, is calling right now the best luchador going. You very well might be right. He called his shot. The most wanted, the Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito, is challenging Jon Moxley for the AEW Continental title after a crazy-ass tag team match last week on Dynamite where Bandito got the better of the Death Riders in a very rare situation. The Death Riders lost in Elimination Fair, All-Out Warfare. They did get a little bit of revenge, though, this past Wednesday on Dynamite, as Nick called, with a little bit of the numbers game. Call it psychological warfare if you want, because, of course, this Sunday, for those that don't know, Continental Championship matters are 20-minute time limit. All parties banned from ringside or they're fired. It's a definitive one-on-one that Bandito called out Jon Moxley for, and Jon Moxley, who continues to try and outrun yesterday, today, into tomorrow, as vice versa, by the Death Riders mentality, Death Riders versus the world. He was all in on it and he decided, let's go, but don't miss your shot. So, Dave, welcome to City Predicting. You kick things off. Step up to the plate. Do you think that Bandito will hit the jackpot, or will Jon Moxley add another trophy to his ongoing Continental Championship reign? He's held this title, by the way, since December, after being Kazuchika Okada at the World's End conclusion of the Continental Classic Tournament. Wins already over Sheldon Benjamin and freaking Kadozi Takeshita, not once but twice, and even Kyle O'Reilly. Lucha, Japanese, Mexican, American. I don't know if there's somebody single-handedly that could beat Jon Moxley right now and take away the Continental Championship. But can Bandito be that guy? Your thoughts, Dave?
My thoughts are there's no two-belt Bandito. I really think Moxley is not. He's not the person he's going to lose to. And I think we just mentioned with the building tag team division, it looks like Bandito's getting formed back together right now. So because they have nothing for either of them singly, other than Bandito's Ring of Honor title, which again, Ring of Honor, it's like the bottom feeder of it. But I don't think there's a way Moxley loses. And I mean, the betting odds have him heavily favored, and I see it being correct.
Yeah, fair enough. And again, if it goes to 20-minute draw, and he has done that, folks, in the past, Jon Moxley goes on to the title. For those that have been on the for the first time, we're all about who leads with the championship and who's declared champion at the end of the match. That being said, Dave's got Jon Moxley still riding high as the Continental holder. Do we have any disagreement before we move on? Going once, going twice. And Nick, are you just mocking me, or are you actually going with Bandito? about to say.
Just guns up. That's all I gotta say. Guns
I
up.
thought that was the Bang Bang game, but okay. And it looks like, again, I do commend people when they choose to be bold and predict differently, because once in a while you get $100 like you did betting on Randy Orton at WrestleMania 37. If you know, you know, folks, unfortunately. One person did pick Bandito. I almost wonder if this is the same one person that picked the other. I shot his face.
Wasn't me. I swear to God. I did not activate the Emmanuel cards. It was not me. I did not do it. I swear.
Are you sure it's not you or Emmanuel that's fucking with me? Are you sure about that?
No. The only thing I predict from this match, and I swear to God, Tony, if we don't see fucking Jay White this weekend, I'm gonna be
there
pissed.
It is.
I'm gonna be pissed, dude. It's like, how bad of an injury?
He's definitely missed. Jay White is missed. Definitely.
And he's one of the only people that John Moxley has yet to beat in singles action that has a win over this man more than once.
Yeah, he got hurt. Or he may have been the next one to go against Moxley for the title.
Well,
and I think that
been during that time, yeah.
Well, if we run it back and we roll back the tape, the reason why roll it. The reason why what's his face? What wasn't in the Owen Hart last year? Was because of Death Riders and John, right? So
that's correct.
Especially him and his history with Will. That's another layer. See Ash's face because she knows about the New Japan lore with you guys. Jay White and Will are very familiar with each other, so I mean, just adding him into that storyline, it just makes sense. Hurry the fuck up, Jay. Hurry up.
Again, we don't know anything beyond our screens. Truly, seeing is reality. We'll see what happens if you breathe with the switch once again. Either way, we're all definitively on this case the same number of Death Riders, by the way. I guess that makes you Maria and Shafir, even though you're usually the solution, not the problem.
By default, yeah.
John Moxley is the Continental Championship. Manuel, I see you're
since this is the thing that you lead, does that make you Moxley?
I mean, I'm from Ohio. I might as well be.
I got dibs on being Claudio, though.
All right, fair enough.
I'll be Pac. Yeah.
You are a bastard at times.
Emmanuel can be Daniel Garcia.
I'll be Daniel Garcia. That means Emmanuel should be Yuta.
There's our future tag team champions in Ring of Honor. All right, moving on. I guess we're now the Death Riders. Damn. All right.
Oh, no, I think I've got more of the Yuta hair.
Noah, I was about to say, like, remember once upon a time, a couple months ago, we have been talking about how the Death Riders was going to kick out John Moxley. How did that go? That troll, right?
Like I said, it's not about a Godfather, off with the heads leader, It Too Brutus storyline. It's a mentality on professional wrestling work ethic that the Death Riders have set that so far has been unmatched by anybody else in AEW. They don't give zero fucks what you think beyond that. Death Riders versus the world. Might as well be me versus the world when I don't give zero fucks about anyone else on the internet. All right, so yeah, I guess I am John Moxley. Fuck it, I'll take it. Shoot, I'm the definitive all-league winner at this point, so why not? You all are chasing me. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Good stuff, everybody. Welcome again, Dave. I hope that you're enjoying this. This isn't your last.
I love it. I love it,
all
guys.
Right. Now we move on to JJ, who gets to talk about his favorite team. You know what? I'm not going to do that to you, but I am going to do that to him because he's still familiar with them. Fuck it. It's California. Let's go ahead and talk about this literal interpromotional triple threat as the Young Bucks take on Sky Team, Mystical and Mascara Dorado, who might I add, they're going to challenge those fellas to get anomalies for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. And yes, the reason these models in here, visa issues. In fact, several talents had visa issues, which is why this card has actually been changed up. Kudos to Tony Khan and still making something. The Young Bucks, JJ's favorite tag team, if you know, you know, folks, and Shigeru Takagi and Titan of New Japan Pro Wrestling Unbound Company. Simply put, folks, it's CMLL versus AEW versus New Japan Pro Wrestling in a triple threat tag team match. So straight up, it's exhibition. And sometimes at pay-per-view, you get that type of thing, just cuz. Especially when it comes to representing more than one company. Surprised me they would have the Evolve Championship on NXT PLEs, but that's a whole different conversation. That being said, I'm sure he's going to make this short, sweet, and simple, considering what we might be building to, that Nick, Dave, and JJ, their own triple threat, teamed up on trying to write for the rest of the summer. So JJ, simply put, what team you got winning, what brand you got winning this triple threat tag team match?
Short, sweet, and to the point. The match is happening in California. Dynamite is in California. AEW is winning this. Rod and Todd Flanders walk out as the winners of this match.
I have not heard that for a while. I think that's the first time Dave heard that live. Okay.
Shout out to Matt Hostetter, because I know he usually pops in the chat.
He uses it all the time, Noah. I hear this. I hear it all. Because I've started to call him Rod and Todd now.
But yeah, everybody knows my disdain for the Young Bucks. But as Noah pointed out, we're going to build toward the Bucks versus Cage and Cope. You don't get there by letting any of the other teams that aren't going to be around for the next 3.5 months, except for a maybe random collision match, just because we might see Mascara Dorado and Mystico for Grand Slam Mexico, but that's August.
Yeah.
You know, the Young Bucks are walking out of this with the dub here.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and see if there is actually a different team disagreement before we move on. Because again, it's a triple threat. Maybe someone will surprise me. Young Bucks is the first bout for the win. Anyone got a different team in mind under any sort of circumstance? Keep in mind, Young Bucks started to be involved in the decision. Go on. Really? What, Nick? What team? As soon as he unmutes himself. Technology, folks, even in Canada.
Technology.
Right.
This would be it. I think this would be a really great time to debut a real Forbidden Door. Because, usually when you say his name, he appears. So, I wish Joe Hendry was here at Forbidden Door. God,
fuck you.
His name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
I got the Bucks.
I got the Bucks winning.
All right, fair enough. Damn it. All right. Well, that being said, I guess we'll move on because, in my opinion, Shigeru Takagi's in the G1 Climax. Stay tuned, folks. Will be coming opening day, and Ash and I will do a back-to-back breakdown of the G1 ahead of that. Stay tuned for further details on that. And with Grand Slam Mexico coming up, El Sky team's already involved in Ring of Honor. Mystico has been heavily involved in AEW, teaming alongside Speedo Mike Bailey. Mystico and El Dorado are the NWW Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. And Teton Shigeru Takagi, former Los Gomez Stay Out Pong, now part of Unbound Company. Teton heavily involved in CMLL. It feels like the only way this affiliate goes forward is Young Bucks. It's just a matter of, okay, which team eats the fall? I feel like it's got to be the CMLL contingency to maybe just, protect Shigeru Takagi and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Then again, Teton might be the most unfamiliar name under the AEW banner of showcasing. So I could actually see a Teton being involved in the decision here. But either way, I think the Young Bucks are going to swoop in and escape with the win because triple threats, you just got to find the moment to get the count. Leo Rush did that last week of Ring of Honor against Ash Andrea and AR Fox. And just saying. Ash, I saw you unmute for a moment. You had a thought real quick before we move on?
Yeah, I was about to say, if Unbound Co. is the one who eats the pin, it's probably being Teton, because as of late, Teton's the one who plays the Bushi role of eating the pin when their team loses.
Pretty much. Even though, it is what it is, especially during the Best of the Juniors. Believe it or not, it's like a Pac-Man. I like the fact that people actually did go different here. 3 people went to the Unbound Company, 3 people went to the El Sky team, the rest went to the Young Bucks. It was not unanimous, but all 3 teams were involved in people's predictions. So kudos to the 6 out of the 23 of you that went with something that you felt was actually going to be a little bit different. Yeah. I actually hope you're right. All right.
I think with this too, it just leads. The Bucks need to win this match.
If they would have got direction.
Yes, because they do. Because I think this, again, coming out of Forbidden Door, I think the play is going to be that the Bucks have beaten world-class title or world-class contenders, and they want their shot at the tag team titles. It just makes sense, right? It's just, yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and
and they don't need the CMLL team doesn't need the dub here to still get a title shot because we're going to Grand Slam Mexico.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
And
we
for
can
all we
still give them a match there against Cage and Cope just as a little filler. Because again, they're not losing the belts until All In soonest.
That about to say, thank
Right.
you for adding soonest. I also want to add again, El Sky Team, Mascal, Dorada, and Mystico, who are representing CMLL in this match. They are already challenging for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships next week, Friday, after Forbidden Door. So they very well might be Tag Team Champions in ROH here in the near future. And if you have,
I can't wait for Metalingus in Arena Mexico.
I'm not sure how that sounds in Espanol, but okay. Well, that being said, let's go ahead and move on from there into our next match. Speaking of NJPW, why don't we talk about the international replications that Thekla have introduced towards her former employer when she told him to fuck off definitively after she got fired and literally sentenced death to her former promotion. Let's briefly talk about the AEW Women's World Championship as coming in for the first time ever through what's called the Forbidden Door. I'm just going to say coming in for the first time to AEW, it is Starlight Kid. For those that don't know, Starlight Kid is a 10-year veteran of the business and has primarily been involved in Stardom. She's been pretty much there since inception, formerly underneath Stars with Maya Watani, went dark as part of Wado Tai before they became Hate, got excommunicated by that group, and formed a union with her forever rival in the daughter of High Speed, Asume, who we see multiple times walk through the Forbidden Door, and has kind of come into her own light, leading her own faction now called Nido Genesis, and is a former Wonder Stardom champion. Basically, the workhorse title of Stardom, by the way, in case you don't know. The white one represents the most emotion, the red one represents the strongest. And that is your Search Stardom 101 lesson. To learn more about that, go listen to the Stardom podcast or engage in me and Ash for further conversation. That being said, Thekla has already lost to Starlight Kid in a bygone life when they were part of Stardom together, when she was part of Donna Del Mundo, Women Who Play in the World, Julia, you remember that name? Julia's faction in Stardom. I'm just saying, a better line, just saying. Anyway, to make a long story short, this really comes to the fact that Thekla fucking hates Stardom. The president literally fired her last year on the spot after she assaulted him and staff after she lost a match and she had to join a faction known as Cosmic Angels, which went against her identity as the idol killer, destroying anything cute and strong. That's pretty much what Stardom's identity still kind of is to a degree. Since then, after coming into AEW, clocking Jamie Hayter last year after Double or Nothing, the Wednesday after Double or Nothing, we've seen the rise of this toxic inclusion of spite and aggression in the AEW Women's Division. That has, of course, thrusted Thekla into the AEW Women's World Championship after you building, of course, the Triangle of Madness with Sky Blue and Julia Hart, and they've been running roughshod the AEW Women's Division. This past week, Thekla arrived in Stardom again, assaulted the president. Did in Las Vegas, did in Japan. Taro Okada is safe nowhere in the world. In fact, she invited Taro Okada to this show to sit front row. Starlight Kid, though, has stepped into the plate to defend Stardom's honor and looks to take the AEW Women's World Championship. It is not too far-fetched for Ring of Honor Gold to go to Stardom or Mexico. But could we actually see, in some way or capacity, Stardom holding the AEW Women's World Championship, even for a cup of coffee? And yes, Starlight Kid is involved in this year's 5-Star Grand Prix that starts in the middle of July. That being said, let's go and lend our thoughts to the women of Stardom and AEW regarding the AEW Women's World Championship. And that's why I went in the order I did. Hello, Ash. So, Ash, what do you think about this? Again, we talk about the fact that we are in the summer of round robin tournaments for both the premier promotions in Japan for women's wrestling and Japanese strong style, New Japan and Stardom. But this whole vendetta that Thekla has towards the Stardom promotion, it feels like to me this is not going to stop at Forbidden Door regardless of this result. But that being said, what do you think about this match?
I am looking forward to this match because I've heard many good things about Starlight Kid. I've seen clips and highlights of her in Oh my god, I absolutely love her. She is both scary and adorable. It is amazing. I love
There's a
her
reason why
so
El
much.
Desperado endorses her so much
I
too.
love her so much. I can't wait to see her in action. She's
I
just,
love this
oh
Betty
my
demeanor.
god. Oh my god. I can't speak enough about her. I'm looking forward to this match. I can't wait for her to see what she's all about. And with that being said, I see Thekla retaining. Because because I don't think Starlight, as much as I would love the idea that friends of mine have been pitching that Starlight Kid being the mascot and the face of Stardom, getting the AEW title off of Thekla, which would be freaking amazing because, it'd be nice for a change for a Japanese wrestling company to take an AEW title because I'm sick and tired of it being the other way around, but we'll get there when we get to that point. But
we'll get there with the next match. I'm sure you'll talk more about that here shortly, but continue.
Oh, absolutely. I am. Rest assured. So I see Thekla retaining, and who's to say they can still work that into the tournament, and who's to say the winner of the tournament not only wins the Wonder World Stardom title, that's the title's name, yeah?
The World of Stardom Championship.
Okay, yeah. They could do possibly maybe a title versus title situation. That is, if Thekla still has the title, that's could be a thing, but yeah, I don't see Thekla losing the title to Starlight Kid.
Okay. Well, that being said, Ash has set the bout to the AEW Women's World Championship to Thekla retaining by any means necessary. Madness, Sky Blue, Julia Hart, Miss, Brass Knuckles, and we've seen her run, by the way, if you looked at her matches against Alex Windsor, Persephone, Julia Jamie Hayter, and Mina Shirakawa. It's been a hell of a run for the AEW Women's World Champion. I'm just saying, especially out of that crazy ass 4-way at Double or Nothing. That being said, she got Thekla retaining. Does anybody have Starlight Kid winning? Going once, going twice. JJ?
I'm not 100% on her winning, but I feel like the Owen match and this match really go hand in hand, because if Thekla retains, Mercedes shouldn't win. You got a heel versus heel at All In.
Right.
You would want Maya World to then win. That way you've got the baby face versus the heel. So if Mercedes is going to win the Owen, you should move the belt to Starlight Kid. If even just for a couple of months, because then you've got Mercedes, the evil boss CEO bitch, defeating the beloved Starlight Kid.
Fair thought. And again,
So,
like I said,
it's very much a symbiotic relationship, the yin and the yang.
Right.
And placement on the card, I think, is big when it comes to this match. Mm-hmm. Is this after the Owen? Is this before the Owen?
I feel like it should be after. Honestly.
This match.
But if it's after the Owen and Mercedes is won, theoretically speaking, I feel like you know who's going to win this match, and vice versa.
True.
And I'm sorry, because I know I'm opening up for a whole other can of worms.
Really
Nick wants to speak. Emmanuel's got his hand up now.
Well, to be fair, it's
Dave's
a world
championship. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
You know what? You know what? Look at the timer. We're actually doing great here. And let's be honest. We're putting stock into All In, into the World Championships, into what is. That's what wrestling should be, damn it. So that being said, this is good. And I actually welcome this because, like you said, we're looking at Sunday in predictions. But with redemption in between, there's so much that could change even there that affects All In outside the Own Competition Tournament winner. And that's not even 100% safe based on what we're thinking. Speaking of which...
And Starlight Kid, to your point, she's got the Grand Prix, the 5-star whatever, tournament going on. So she wouldn't be able to be at Redemption, but the tournament would probably be over come All In. So she'd be able to defend the title there. and she could just cut a couple of like promos to send into Dynamite in the meantime to keep her fresh on television, via satellite type shit.
August 23rd, by the way, is how long the tournament runs through. The tournament runs through July 18th to August 23rd. You all can catch it exclusively on Stardom World's service.
And then All In is the 30th of August.
That's
so it's
right.
the week after. So
and again
to the point.
Yeah, like I said, it makes sense. And
then you've got the AEW Women's Champion through the tournament.
Yeah, that should be an interesting representation. Though, then again, that risks also anybody that beats her possibly challenging for that title. And we're already seeing a change of the guard for the World of Stardom Championship. Crazy Girl Suzuki is the new World of Stardom Champion. Finally. So I'm looking forward to that run. And also, again, I love the fact that these matches are not 100%. Somebody did pick Starlight Kid to win the AEW World Championship. So that being said, I do like the fact that we've opened this up into further thoughts of the what ifs, because, yeah, I truly do believe this and the women's Owen are going to be defined by each other. It's just a matter of what defines what for that night. Now, Amanda, I did see your hand. What you guys say real quick before we move on? Then, Ash, I think I saw your mouth go, so you must have had a baddie thoughts. You'll go, and then we'll move on to our next. So you just had your little TED Talk tidbit about titles and companies. How fitting that I saved that match after this. Amanda, what you got to say real quick?
Nothing much to add, but I just got to tell to JJ, who's not to say that Tony might turn Mercedes baby face in this couple of
work.
I just say it, like,
weird things have happened. You've got a point there, but I don't see it happening just yet.
I just say, like, there's an X amount of days to build Mercedes as a babyface. She's been healed how long now?
Her entire AEW run.
I don't think you would start that until Redemption, hence the name of the pay-per-view. Redemption. Mercedes loses her belt at Forbidden Door. And then the next pay-per-view is the beginning of her redemption arc.
You almost thought her theme being more, what's the word I'm looking for? Sympathetic feeling would be her own form of redeeming herself.
And really quickly, Noah, who did you say that we want when we were talking earlier before I gave my thoughts?
Mina. What the hell? Oh, wow, you've been busy on Teespring. Okay. All right.
Get your very own We Want Mina shirt.
I'm surrounded by buffoons. All right. Well, thank you, Emmanuel. Ash, you got a part real quick before we move on here. And Nick, I think you also had some. I wasn't sure if you had something because I didn't see your hand up. But
Nick and Dave both had something.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Ash, go ahead. Then I'll give the gentlemen their due.
Yeah, I was thinking because that's what I was thinking about too. Because I was thinking maybe the winner of the Owen Hart tournament determines if Thekla retains or not. But at the same time, who's to say Thekla can lose her title before All In? Because keep in mind, Thekla won her title at a random-ass episode of Dynamite.
Exactly.
Who's to say she doesn't lose at Dynamite as well? Because it's not guaranteed that she walks in All In as champion. So there's a high possibility that she could lose the title before then, opening the door for a Mercedes versus whoever is champion at that time, if Mercedes does win the tournament.
Yeah, how many times have we seen the AEW Women's World Championship change hands, by the way, on special Dynamites or special stipulation matches in main events? I'm just saying.
The only person I think that would make sense would be Athena, and they're not giving her any fucking wins on AEW television.
Well, considering the long-term future with Athena Mercedes, you would be correct, and Mercedes on the other side of that marquee. All right. Nick, what you got to say real quick? Then we'll go to Dave, then we'll move on to our next match.
Yeah, I mean, you guys touched on it, that we have to remember there is redemption. What I think should happen is, remember, the winner of the Owen gets the main event at All In. Well, what if Mercedes is the one walking in to All In as the champion? Because remember, if Maya World wins, you have to. If Maya World wins, that means she has a victory over Athena. Now, if we examine Tony's booking and just booking in general, how does Mercedes get her win back, right? So what if What if Mercedes, just because the winner of the Owen got the main event at All In, well, she could turn around and say, well, I was a runner-up, so I want my spot at Redemption. And then you could do Thekla versus Mercedes at Redemption and having Mercedes win, taking the belt into All In. This match again, Thekla should be winning. I'm sorry to say, we don't need when this pay-per-view is over, and JJ has said it best. I want this door bolted shut for at least a year. I am tired of, and I understand the dual contracts. I get it. I get all that. But once this door is shut, once Forbidden Door is over, please, I don't want to see a lick of Stardom. I don't want to see CMLL or New Japan on our television for a good 8 to 12 months.
Grand Slam Mexico in a month and a half. Sorry, brother.
I know. It's just we had this conversation,
right. And we had this conversation. We're not going down that.
You're right. About the Forbidden Door and whatnot.
Yes. Name the concept.
Yeah, exactly. All I'll say is, and to kind of throw it into the stratosphere, remember, they're booking Forbidden Door as a triple main event.
Yep.
That's how they're hyping up this show. So the main events are the 2 Owen matches and the steel cage match.
Yes.
So this match will be going on before the Owen. That's why I think, you guys are all saying, where does the match take place? It's just, yeah.
I'm just waiting for them to book Forbidden Door in Japan. Book it in the Tokyo Dome, damn it. Make this the new Wrestle Dynasty. Do that every other year because you haven't done Dynasty since literally 2025. But anyway, moving on. Dave, go ahead and get your final here real quick before we move on to our next match for our Baddies TED take on an IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. And then we'll go from there into our marquee matches that are left. What do you got to say?
Cool. Basically, all I wanted to say is going what JJ said, I don't think Starlight Kid is going to win this for a few reasons. Because like he said, she can't wrestle at Redemption because I think it should be a quick title reign and then give it up. And I don't see, as I know Ash said, she heard good things and saw a video of her. I've never seen video. I've heard good things about her, but I don't think she's a name draw for All In. I think the name recognition match, even though they're both really heels right now, is Moné and Thekla. Really, I just don't think Starlight Kid has that name recognition to headline or to be one of the main matches at All In. That's all I had to add to that.
That's fair. And also, we're in the UK. So, for all we know, Mercedes Moné, she could be treated like the queen. How does the UK feel about their queen? That's a whole different conversation. Okay. Fair enough. Again, I don't live across the pond. My friend Megan Chiba does. As Mary J continues to prove that Jay's worth more than gold as she holds 2 championships now. Follow her young career, folks, of course, through hybrid wrestling and other promotions across the UK at Mary J. Cheers, my friend. Queen of ATW for life. But let's go ahead and move on to our next match here. Because Ash brought a very fair point. Here we have AEW versus Stardom, where Stardom challenges for an AEW championship. Here you have AEW versus New Japan for a New Japan championship. But again, this title, Yoda got the blessing of Tanahashi that this title will be defended against outsiders or intruders on New Japan's honor. Yoda already lost it once against a real Latino man. Well, does the Roughneck lose it against a bastard? Because Pac, former Open the Dragon Gate champion and inaugural All-Atlantic, for those that don't know, that was the original life of the AEW International Championship. He now challenges Shota Umino for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. For those that don't know, this title was literally made off the work of Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay before David Finlay destroyed it. And we got a triple threat crown, the inaugural champion, back at Wrestle Kingdom 18. And as the history rolls on and on and on and on and on, Yota Tsuji had it, lost to Andrade. We had a triple threat at Dominion literally 2 weeks ago, where Shota Umino pinned Andrade to win this title back for New Japan. And then he got assaulted by Gabe Kidd on behalf of the Death Riders, who desecrated the Lion Mark and literally said, fuck you, fuck all of you, on behalf of the Death Riders, more so himself, Gabe Kidd versus the world. That being said, Shota Umino and Gabe Kidd, they're both in the G1 Climax, by the way. And Pac, who, of course, has been sent on this challenge against the Umino that Shota Umino accepted at Blue Justice, we now have this interpromotional match for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Now, hi, Ash, good to see you. That being said, Claudio Castagnoli tried to get the better of Shota Umino back at Wrestle Dynasty. Shota Umino won. And of course, Shota Umino, he will be going into the G1 Climax. And Gabe Kidd has already set ward for NJPW on behalf of the Death Riders. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a TED Talk or a simple prediction, but Ash, the spotlight is yours. Your thoughts on this IWGP Global Championship match, and do you have a new champion?
So it looks like Shota Umino is going through like the Death Rider gauntlet because he's already gone through Claudio, and he also has Gabe Kidd coming up to himself. Is Gabe Kidd and Shota Umino in the same block?
I believe they are, yes.
Okay. Because the way I see it is I hope Shota Umino retains because he just won the title. I do not want to see this fucking thing hot potatoed because I do not want to see any more motherfucking AEW wrestlers winning motherfucking New Japan titles. Okay? We can slow burn Gabe Kidd versus Shota Umino after the G1. Okay? Let Shota Umino have a good run with that title. Let him build freaking opponents through the tournament. Let Shota Umino have a goddamn proper run because this is his first and only title.
After 19 chances at a championship, by the way.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Okay, Ash, thank you for setting up that bout. So that being said, folks, Ash has decided that the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship will be on retainment. And again, stay tuned. We cover opening day. Ash, here's your G1 Climax blocks. Zack Sabre Jr. and Shota Umino and Gabe Kidd are all in the same block. And defending champion Kanosuke Takeshita is also in the same block as the very man that took the IWGP Heavyweight Championship from him earlier this year. Yota Tsuji. Again, folks, stay tuned. We'll be covering opening day, and you will get a Batty Bracket breakdown on Batty for Wrestling and some men's brand exclusive channels here very soon ahead of opening day. Thank you, Ash. That being said, Ash said champion retains. Does anybody have a disagreement before we move on? Going once, going twice. Good panel. And yeah, I expect Gabe Kidd to assault him afterwards, too, to further tease and taste of what's to come in the G1. Now, I wonder, was this absolutely definitive? The answer is no. But it's not one person. 3 people actually went with the Bastard Pop. Maybe they're all countrymen or Death Riders. I don't know. Emmanuel, I do see your hand up. What you got to say real quick before we move on to our last 3 matches?
2 points. Who are these people? Are they getting the Humanity cards? Or are they getting this exclusive cards? Where are you getting my cards? Why are you stealing them? Anyways.
Well, I mean, we are talking about Japan and the anime capital of the world where Yu-Gi-Oh! Was born. And again, if you want to know more about pop culture and anime, go follow Pop Culture Powerbomb on the X today. All right. Thank you, Emmanuel. That was short, sweet, and simple.
And second of all, isn't this kind of sad, Noah, that this is the first match we're unanimous that
no, it's not AEW. They just fucking won the championship on fucking Dominion less than 2 weeks ago. You fucking
hear me out. Hear me out. I'm saying that isn't it sad that this is the first not AEW outside? Like, look at the picture. You have New Japan, CML, Stardom, and this is the first one we're all unanimous that we're going saying, yes, a New Japan wrestler is winning. And basically, we all been saying AEW is going to win this. Isn't that kind of a sad kind of news?
Well, when you put it like that, I guess there's some content to that truth, but it is what it is. All right, but that being said, thank you, Emmanuel. All right, straight up, we all believe that Shota Umino is retaining. Good luck against Gabe Kidd and good luck in this year's G1 Climax. You're going to need it, Roughneck. All right, good job, everybody. All right, so since Ash taught Japanese, it's only fitting that she talks about where she's from. because she's Canadian, but she's also a young punk. And also, she's our lovable dickhead. So, time for your baddie analysis on what you thought was going to piss you off to the one match that you can't wait to call. And yes, folks, Ash and I know the call this Sunday. Time for you to shine not TED Talk, but shine your love for the text. Because Kenny Omega is going one-on-one with Zack Sabre Jr. in a match to define greatness. And what Kenny Omega said last night on Wednesday will be his redemption. Straight up, folks, this is the first time ever one-on-one matchup in AEW. But these two titans of the ring, the best bout machine and the greatest technical wrestler going today, held by Bryan Danielson to that regard in itself, might I add, are now going one-on-one here at Forbidden Door for the first time ever in an AEW ring. Straight up, the last time these two faced each other, it was back at G1 Climax 28. For those that don't know their math, that was 8 years ago, where Zack Sabre Jr. was still very much a young boy in his New Japan career, underneath the tutelage of the former King of Pancrase, Minoru Suzuki, as of course part of Suzuki-gun, underneath Taka Michinoku. So what? Of course, that's a whole different type of timeline there that I absolutely loved following. Of course, Zack Sabre Jr. taking New Japan truly for its own. Kenny Omega finding off diverticulitis on this new leash on life. We saw what happened when the God faced the devil at Dynasty, but Kenny Omega will Ospreay, both men holding each other accountable, being at charge bats. Kenny Omega still believes there's a chance he could be the AEW World Champion once again, and he thinks that this could be what pushes him towards that greatness as Zack Sabre Jr. challenged him. It wasn't Tanahashi. It wasn't Jericho that formed the term Forbidden Door. It was this bloody freaking Brit, damn it, in my opinion, who I faced been involved in every Forbidden Door. Not to mention last year, defended the IWGP World Championship successfully against Nigel McGuinness. So, straight up, and Zack Sabre Jr., by the way, will be in the G1 Climax. He's kind of had some good fortunes here at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, but we are talking about Kenny Omega, where the next pay-per-view is a redemption, dickheads. All right, Ash, straight up, it's time for a happy baddie analysis. Who do you got winning this one-on-one encounter? That literally caused Walter to buy the pay-per-view as soon as he heard about it. Kenny Omega or Zack Sabre Jr.?
Can you make me go last? Because I want to hear what everybody else says first.
Really? You want a whole group analysis? All right,
Yes.
fuck it, we're actually ahead of time. Fuck it, why not? All right, we'll go the opposite way this time. Start with JJ. Hi, JJ. What do you think about this match? We're talking about, again, so many different ways that we could look at all in when it comes to the World Championships. And we also are looking at, of course, the Forbidden Door term as a concept. But again, we've already pushed that so down far. The ether, you might as well be digging a hole for the earth all the way to Japan. That being said, what do you think about this one-on-one exhibition? Got Kenny Omega winning or Zack Sabre Jr. surprising?
Can you come to me next to last? No, I'm just kidding.
You fucking dickhead.
No, I'm kidding. Look, at the end of the day, as much as I want to go for Zack Sabre Jr., especially since I got to meet him Mania weekend, especially since I had tried to call Ash so that she could talk to him on the phone and she ignored my phone call.
Wow.
Considering the very next show is Redemption in Canada, and Kenny by God Omega is Canadian, I think he's going to get the W here, and it's going to be Omega versus MJF at Redemption.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, Ash. I enjoy Zack Sabre not as much as you, but I do enjoy watching him, especially getting to see him live. He's jobbing. I'm sorry.
All right.
Shawn Michaels to Ric Flair. I'm sorry. I love you. Zack goes down.
That's a hell of an analysis, though, considering you hold both those men to that pedigree. That's a hell of an analysis. All right. Well, again, though, let's be honest here. No one else in this panel knows more about Zack Sabre Jr. than Ash and me. So, again, let's go ahead and see if the other Canadian wants to say anything regarding Kenny Omega and what JJ said. And then we'll open the floor to the two that might not know as nearly as much as the rest of us. Nick, what you got to add regarding Kenny Omega from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and his road to redemption? Does it go through Zack Sabre Jr. or, as Zack kind of like cheekily said, just stay out of the hospital, dickhead? What you got to say regarding this?
I thought nothing good came out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Kenny Omega is from Winnipeg.
He is, actually, yes.
Whoever said that nothing good ever came up from Winnipeg? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Y'all are crazy. Y'all have been hearing things.
All right, Nick, speak, bro.
This question, you guys up there can. I'm gonna answer your question with a question. Does Zack Sabre Jr. have any issues with anybody in New Japan? Is he feuding with anybody right now, or is TMDK feuding with anybody right now?
As
Not
far
that
as
I can
Zack,
think
go
of,
ahead, Ash.
no. Not that I can recall. I don't think they're feuding with anyone at the moment. Because yeah, it's really up in the air because I'm not sure because I don't know what Fujita is doing. I don't know what Oya is doing. Mikey's been missing in action.
But
Bad
he's in
Dude
Ring of
Tito.
Honor right now. He's here.
Oh, nice. Okay, Bad Dude Tito's doing things in MLW, and Shane is doing stuff in Pro Wrestling Noah. So yeah, TMDK is a little bit like the TMDK crew in New Japan. They don't really have a direction at this moment.
Okay.
Yeah, and Zack Sabre Jr., the latest thing I can see going for him, based on what happened in that tag match at Dominion, he might start a feud with Uya Amara, who, ironically enough, is also in his block.
Mm-hmm. So he has G1
Okay.
Climax stuff going for him. That's about it on the
So-
Zack Sabre Jr. front.
Baby, can I get a Joya? Sorry.
Bygone line.
I really hope. I mean, you'd be again. It's Kenny for the win. There's no way about it. My thing is, how do you protect Zack? Because I feel him losing straight up, I don't think is healthy for the partnership. Especially when the world champion from the other promotion doesn't even want to show up. So I think that to keep the partnership good between everybody, you got to find some sort of way to screw Zack. So maybe it's somebody in the G1 that kind of fucks him up. And then when you set up, that's how you kind of go throughout the tournament, setting it up for the finals. Yeah, I have Kenny winning because that triple threat at All In is going to be amazing in the main event.
Well, we'll see if it comes to fruition. But that being said, he's got Kenny Omega with the victory. And again, when Kenny Omega and Zack Sabre Jr. first faced each other, it wasn't like he definitively put him down with a one-wing angel. He escaped the freaking vegan Hydra with a counter roll-up pin. Again, the human body manipulation and dissection that Zack Sabre Jr. can do to a person is fucking ridiculous. All right. And I can't wait to see how many different ways he turns Kenny Omega into a pretzel. And I can't wait to call it. But thank you, Nick. All right. So we got Kenny Omega. And as far as the poll, it looks like, wow, this is actually the most polarized so far. 7 people went with Zack Sabre Jr., while the 16 others went with Kenny Omega. So it's the most partitioned so far across the predictions form. As David Emmanuel kind of just take this all in. It's like the 2 guards outside Buckingham Palace just standing there. It's kind of funny. All right. So we had a Canadian, we had an American, and then there's me. Look, Ash, you and I are going to call opening day of G1. You and I are going to call this. But the arc right now versus Zack Sabre Jr., if he goes into full dickhead mode, because to your point, TMDK as a group don't have a direction, but he clearly has a direction. Hello, you know what he wants. He wants to win the G1 Climax and win back the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
The version 4 title, by the way, not that
The most beautiful
Cody
title.
Rhodes. Okay,
Yes.
not the Cody Rhodes neck tattoo.
Neck tattoo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. You're going to get a TED Talk from me about championship glory, and that's going to be a whole different conversation. I'm going to piss off half the internet, and I won't give zero fuck.
PayPal. Sorry.
No, stop it. You stop it. You stop trying to instigate my rage. You stop it.
My name is JJ Williams, and I approve that message.
Oh, shut the fuck up. That being said, I got to go with Kenny Omega, just thinking about again. There's so much right now. The story of AEW at the very top, Ospreay, Kenny Omega. That's subtle. Sit down in defeat after Dynasty. Set up the rest of the year for me to figure out the aspirations and expectations of what the top echelon of AEW could be doing or could be involved with or without the AEW World Championship. And Forbidden Door is a turning point for both these men. One on the rise to his ascension. One on the start on the road to redemption. To either achieve that glory through Canada and through Wembley. That remains to be seen. It remains to be started. And the only way you start that off is if you have two elements work it out the way it needs to be at Forbidden Door in what I want to see. And one of those plots has to be Kenny Omega somehow surviving, maybe escaping. I don't think he won Winged Angels, Zack Sabre Jr. I think this is literally going to be one of those matches where he just finds the 3 seconds. All it takes is a moment, folks. The longest 3 seconds of your life, but the most beneficial 3 seconds you could ever have in your life. That's professional wrestling, damn it. I find Kenny Omega somehow trapping Zack Sabre Jr. and escaping with the win via pinfall. I got Kenny Omega. All right. With that being said, we got Kenny Omega. Dave, you want to add something here since Ash did open the field, everybody? What do you want to add before we give it back to Ash? Because I think Emmanuel's just smiling and going along with us.
I just want to add, you're right. I don't know a lot about Zack Sabre, but I know a whole lot about Kenny Omega. And all the talk about redemption, him and Ospreay, in the back with teasing things. I think he's gonna get the win, but I do think he's gonna get remember, it's AEW's promotion at the end of the day. I think he will get the one-winged angel on him to win the match.
Really?
Mm-hmm. At least that's my opinion. I may be wrong, but I've been wrong many times before. But I just have the feeling that. Hey, I'm not that far behind you this year. Last year it started off rough, but I haven't done too bad this year.
You know what? That's a fair shout.
And I had the perfect prediction a couple of AEW pay-per-views ago. Remember, I did have a perfect score.
And again, stay tuned for Redemption League breakdown with me and Papagino for both AEW and the Fed. But again, we will be covering Redemption live and as it comes to us from Montreal, Quebec, in the Centre Bell Center, as AEW gives us a redemption for the first time ever, July 26th. Can't fucking wait for that. All right, thank you for that, Dave. Manuel, you now have something that you can say before we give it back to Ash to close it out. What you got to say real quick?
Well, Noah, now I can play my manual card.
Fuck yeah!
Because I'm part of the 7 who picked Zack Sabre Jr.
What?
Yeah, I'm part of the 7.
Well, I'll be damned. Go ahead.
Yeah, this one I can't deny. I actually did go for him. Only recently because of how the list worked. I was looking at the list of matches and everything like that. We need more representation of the other companies winning. And I know Zack is not really a AEW full-time signee. He's kind of bouncing off once in a while. That's okay. That'll be.
Me and Ash probably looking at you dumbfounded, so maybe that was the appropriate view. Continue.
But yeah, there's a partnership. If you gotta keep on letting AEW just win, what? For next year, let's say this for Forbidden Door, why would I want to go? Why would I even bother if you're gonna just go bury my talent? Yes, it's a good exposure, but at the same time, why even bother bringing my best if you just gonna let them lose? So, what about if Kenny Omega get his redemption against Zack Sabre Jr. at Redemption?
I mean, Bryan Danielson did get his redemption in Osaka, Sabre Jr. did get his redemption at Osaka against Bryan Danielson after Bryan Danielson pinned him at Wrestle Dream with a flying knee strike. So you're not too far off.
So that's my only reasoning, why I picked Zack Sabre Jr. at that point, because I'm there needs to be more other people than AEW winning these type of matches.
Well, I understand what you mean about company integrity, maybe from a brand standpoint or an IP standpoint, but at the end of the day, again, if it's not a dominant win, and this is actually Junior we're talking about, I know it's not going to be, then I don't think it necessarily hurts them. Plus, this kind of teasing with the Elite and TMDK, there could be something bigger brewing as we've seen on Dynamite. Jack Perry learned that the hard way. JJ, I do see your hand before we give it to Ash to conclude it with her bag thoughts before we get into our last two matches. What do you got to say real quick?
Wouldn't Redemption conflict with the G1 Climax?
It would.
So that's the reason they couldn't run it back at Redemption. Because Zack Sabre's in one of the blocks.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But it could lead toward blood and guts. TMDK versus the Elite.
Or now that you just made my brain spark, I mean, like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if they run this back like Bryan Danielson and Zack Jr. had their follow-up clinic. I suggest you go watch that, by the way, New Beginning Osaka.
Mm-hmm.
Why not give Zack Jr. another singles match at Wembley Stadium? Run it back with him and Omega and see if he gets his win back.
Oh my god, that'd be so fucking dope.
You're welcome, Ash.
Thank you. Also, I do love your idea of a TMDK versus Elite Blood and Guts. Give me that too. Like, give me all the TMDK.
She wants the town painted orange. I'm just saying.
We're gonna paint the town orange some way or another.
Oh, bloody hell. All you're missing is an all-orange suit like Shane Hates once wore. There you got your hand up. What you got to say real quick before we finally give it to Ash?
That was so funny.
Just,
oh my god.
just say you guys are talking about running it back at anywhere else. I don't think that's the case. I don't see them running anything back for the only fact that it's well documented that Zack is probably the only New Japan talent that hasn't come back to AEW after Forbidden Door. Like he's not really he's the only true Forbidden Door concept of New Japan, because once New Japan is over, you don't see Zack Sabre Jr. anymore.
You're right.
He's not one of those people that are dual contracted, nothing of the sort. So to run it back goes against anything and everything Zack Sabre Jr. is about in regards to Forbidden Door. And I think this year.
Well, I mean, if it happens in New Japan, I don't think it would, because, like I said, they did ran Bryan Danielson back, but Zack Jr. called him to his territory. So if Zack and Omega happens in New Japan, then I still think it holds true to his integrity on the concept.
But I think we're gearing up Omega for something bigger, and I don't think
that's fair.
I don't think he'll be in New Japan, because at that point, if they do run it back, I don't think they run it back before All In. So, I mean, if they're running it back after All In, what's the point?
There's no point. I'm not saying run it back immediately.
But I think, again, once this is over, Forbidden Door, I think this Forbidden Door will lead into, and I hope that they play a story where the partnership, everybody's a little bit tense and everybody gets angry at each other. Right? We're all playing buddy right now. We're all kumbaya. Everybody's happy to be together. Kumbaya. Well, what happens when one of the partners get a little bit angry about how they're being treated by the other promotions? So it's definitely something that you can work towards and maybe create a storyline of it. But again, to the point of Zack and you guys running it, I don't think that's not right now in the plans. I think we've got different ways where we're going, and running this back in AEW, I don't think is a priority right now.
Okay, that's fair. All right, I appreciate that. Well, great stuff by everybody here. So that being said, she moderated this match, rightfully so. All right, Young Punk, you close it out. What are your thoughts on the singles match?
There's a reason why I asked to be last. I wanted to see if y'all can convince me not to pick Zack Sabre Jr. and none of you failed, and none of you did. So I'm picking Zack Sabre Jr. You activated my trap card.
She stands on her merit no matter what. There's nothing you could do to ever make her go against that freaking cheeky brat.
Well, there's also a thought process I have going into this, because
I figured
a win over Kenny Omega will do wonders for his momentum going through the G1, and they can make it out of the series like you guys were talking about. So I do love that factor. You guys are thinking about, like, I love how you guys were saying make this into a series, which I'm all for, which is why I'm also picking Zack to win.
All right, fair enough.
Sorry, Noah, bring up that graphic again.
Oh, absolutely.
Is there anybody? So now the way the G1 works, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, by the end of it, it's going to be somebody from A and somebody from B in the finals, right?
Yes.
Going against. So is there anybody besides Takeshita, because I can't see him doing it, is there anybody in the G1 Climax that you can see on the A block having a feud with Zack throughout the tournament and them ending up meeting in the finals?
Maybe
Plenty of people. I mean, Sonata was the only time when Sonata actually wrestled where it felt like he was the most comfortable. Hiroki Goto, that was Dickhead Satsuma Jr.'s ascension last year, as you know, Ash. Shirakagi, I mean, yeah, I'm about to say. Shirakagi is Satsuma Jr. There's several people on that block, including a person yet to be determined in that block.
Like I said, Omega is going to probably win this match. But again, to Ash's credit, you want to keep Zack strong going into the G1. So that's why I'm thinking if somebody's in the G1 that can screw Zack Sabre Jr. out of the match and give it a fuck finish, that way we're not pinning Zack clean before heading into the G1.
It's fair. And again, it's all a fair analysis. Jada, I see your hand. What you guys say real quick before we move on to semi-main?
The 2 empty red spots and those 2 empty blue spots, are those going to be additional participants?
Yeah, those are what's called basically ride-ins, and one of those spots has already been determined. Yuto Ice was able to beat Taiji to enter the A block, and Aaron Wolf, the new Neverweight champion, was able to beat Yoshihashi to enter the B block. As you can see by the dates, July 6th, Oscar and a couple of others, they will form the very last spots of each block before we get to the start of the G1 Climax on the 13th.
Okay, so there's no way Omega could be one of those spots. Okay, just a question I was having because I saw 2 empty spots on each side, and could it lead to Omega going to the G1?
Nah, I don't think he's ever going to do that again. But never say
then
never.
You get Omega and Zack in the finals for round 2.
All right, don't trigger Ash again. All right, calm down, back.
No, that's fine. I like that idea, but yeah, if it was like not in advance, but yeah, those spots have already been taken, sadly. But we can still work our way to get Omega and Zack for the 3rd time, but we don't know when. That's the question.
I think it's safe to say
we're get there. And how do we get there?
Yeah, and where? And I think it's safe to say we're going to get a 3rd because regardless, something's got to give with these two after this match when it comes to their pride they hold themselves to as the best in professional wrestling.
I also want to point out on Dynamite, Zack did mention in a promo that he's suddenly interested in getting the AEW title.
Right. As the fan went off and you were like, go ahead and say that again before we give it to Manuel.
Yeah, so I'm in that promo on Wednesday. There was like a promo circling around from I don't know if it was aired on Dynamite or this was afterwards, but Zack all of a sudden has an interest in bringing an AEW title over to Japan. So who knows, he might become dual contracted soon.
Okay, that's a crazy way to go about things, but again, never say never.
It's all speculation at this point, and we won't know for sure. And Jesus, easy for me to say. We won't know for sure until his contract expires or not negotiated this upcoming Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, fair enough. Amanda, Amanda, what do you got to say real quick?
Not match related. It's just ha related. Why is Nick doing the sexy ballsy pose like in Mario Party 2? What's up with that?
Okay, thank you for that random intake. Wow. Welcome to Cinema Predicting, Dave. All right, let's go ahead and move on into our semi-main, and let's go ahead and talk about the other Owen Hart Foundation tournament, bruvs. Let's talk about the most dangerous versus the newly disciplined by the Death Riders training, net conditioning, including a submission now, Will Ospreay. All right, guys, it's a Forbidden Door rematch, and it's Will Ospreay's second chance in the finals to win the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. And Swerve Strickland, the Owen Hart Foundation tournament was his undoing. As we know, Bryan Danielson won the tournament, and of course, Boltman went all in. Swerve Strickland went all in as champion. He lost the American Dragon. Will Ospreay came in with a whisker in a shootout in the desert, bruv. And of course, me and Ash called that. Him and Adam Page hit him with a buckshot lariat, and Will Ospreay was bounced out of All In as Ospreay convinced Swerve Heyman was the one. He was the one. He won it All In Texas. Now we look at the clock. Heyman can never challenge for the title again. And Ospreay and Swerve both truly have changed. One man says he needs this, looks for the power, looks for the glory. Will Ospreay says this is no longer about my redemption or ascension. This is my dream for my country. Bottom line, guys, Ospreay, Strickland, one of these men is going on into Wembley Stadium. Do we finally see Will Ospreay become what many people thought he should be? The ace of AEW, seizing the AEW World Championship against a man he's already beaten, by the way, on that stage for a different title. Or does Strickland go back there to claim what he main evented at the last All In Wembley Stadium from a man he hasn't faced yet in AEW, or a man he already faced this year when he made this change about being needed? And of course, this might literally stem off what happens out of this and what Don Kyle's family members get to target the Triple B, if you know what I mean. Regardless, we're focusing on Will Ospreay versus Strickland, the men's own Hart Foundation Tournament Finals. Ospreay, of course, won his way after beating Samoa Joe and Mark Davis. Strickland won his way, of course, after beating both members of Brodito back-to-back, Bandito and Brody King. We saw both men send a very physical statement this past week on Dynamite as Ospreay beat ELP, and Strickland nearly cop killer Ospreay after he was trying to break the arm of Daniel Garcia, where the Death Riders have gone all in on Will Ospreay to the very end. And while he hasn't forgiven them, you can't argue what their training has done for him. So is he truly ready? Is he more dangerous than ever? Or is karma going to bite him in the ass where there might not be a redemption arc? There might literally be a fatality. A lot to give here, but something gives for sure this Sunday. One of these men's going to Wembley. The other is not. Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this. This is definitely going to be an everybody fought because we talk about the women. I think there's even more to discuss with the men, and I think very much additional cause, nothing of sorts is a clear effect, especially with the Death Riders looming in the middle of this entire epicenter. Fucking hell. Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think. Dave, you have not started a definitive match, but I think this is one match that you can start because you know both men very well, and you know the importance of implications. So for the first time in Sympathetic history, the floor is yours to kick things off. Who you got winning this year's men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament? And then we're going to go clockwise.
Thank you, Noah. Definitely. I think this is the match of the night, and this is the match I'm looking forward to the most. Definitely, Ospreay is going to redeem himself from last year. He's headlining in London, whether it's against Omega or it's against MJF. I think definitely Ospreay is going to take this and run. But the story's still not over. Even though he's with the Death Riders, there's got to be an end game to the story because he hasn't forgiven them. They tried to take his career. Something weird's going to happen. I don't think it happens here. I think he gets past Swerve and heads to All In.
All right. That being said, he's got the bruv going all in. When the missus, of course, failed and I saw that sad embrace, I was holding out for hours with her too. Mr. and Mrs. Bruv, champions of AEW, please, Dave, just saying. All right, well, thank you, Dave.
She's going to be a tag. She's going to be a tag team. His wife's going to be a tag team champion.
Like, seriously, I freaking hope so. Damn it. All right. Well, that being said, Dave Chevrolet set the ballot to really, Emmanuel. And you know, through games and movies for more of this nonsense on the N64 and one of the hardest games ever played in N64 history. All right. Let's go back to normal here. Thank you, JJ. All right. Thank you, Dave. He's got Will Ospreay. It is not definitive here, JJ. It is 96% in favor of Will Ospreay. One brave soul picked Swerve Strickland to rule Swerve's house. Again, though, how many times has Swerve taken this chance this year to seize power and glory at the expense of the AEW World Champion or a top-tier contender or the AEW title and failed? He first tried against Kenny Omega, failed. But there is one thing going for Swerve. Ospreay has yet to beat him. So again, just keep that also. And Prince Nana very well might be instrumental here. But then again, the Death Riders, every chance, we've seen them. We saw how instrumental they were against Mark Davis when it became an all-out war in that main event. Good Lord Almighty. It might have been the Don Callis family versus the world. So, JJ, what do you guys say here, starting with as far as the Owen Competition Tournament men's finals go, with Swerve, Strickland, and Will Ospreay? Who do you got winning?
I am Team Bruv all the way. I said it when the Owen was announced that it was going to be Will Ospreay. Before they even announced the brackets, I said it was going to be Will Ospreay.
You did.
You know, it's all in. It's Wembley. It's the championship. Will it still be MJF? That's a whole other story.
We'll get there
I still have reason to believe that it'll be Omega and MJF in Canada. Omega gets the title. It'll be Omega and Ospreay at All In. But I think Will is going to get the victory. I don't think it's going to take Death Rider interference. But I do think somebody will help Will win. A man looking for redemption himself. The Hangman, Adam Page.
What? Oh, that's an element I didn't even think about, considering, again, he can never challenge for the title again. And we haven't seen him.
Nothing contractual was said.
True.
Even Tony Khan has said that he wants to find a way to get Page out of that deal. So possibly Page versus Swerve at Redemption could be how he gets out of it. But I think we're going to go back to last year when Hangman, Ospreay, and Swerve were kind of working together. And now that Swerve has gone heel, it's going to be the Hangman that helps Ospreay get the W here as he heads towards his own redemption.
Damn. Talk about twisted fates of a different sort.
Tony, that's rowjjwilliams@gmail.com if you need to hire another booker.
At least in AEW, you probably would be heard more and you wouldn't have 100 voices over 50 different investing advertisers shadowing you. Fair enough. All right. Well, thank you, JJ. That being said, 2 for the Bruvs. All right, Ash, what do you think about this? I didn't even think about him and Adam Page playing an element at all in this, but we haven't seen him since Redemption, ironically enough, took place here in California when MJF sent him off on a Cowboy's death, basically worse than John Marston that got shot down by 21 gunmen at the end of Red Dead Redemption. Still pissed off at that, by the way. Spoiler alert for those that have never played that game. That's over, I think, 10 years old now. But what do you think about this here? Everything right now in AEW feels like it screams Will Ospreay finally becomes the AEW World Champion at Wembley. But the only way we could see that happen, definitively a chance to, is if he wins the Owen. Is there really any other alternate reality that we see Swerve Strickland winning the Owen Competition Tournament and Will Ospreay's dream going up in smoke again 2 years in a row?
That's another possibility, because if Swerve does win and he gets lodged into the title picture, who's to say that doesn't mean Will Ospreay is not going to be at All In? Because keep in mind, yes, there's still stuff with the Death Riders, but him and his Moxley's their Continental title feud, did it officially become concluded?
I feel like it did when he literally gave Ospreay the choice. You could either take revenge or you could become something better. Your choice. What did Ospreay choose? He chose the team of the Death Riders. And so far, it's gotten to the finals of this year's Owen Foundation Tournament again, with a submission hold now in play.
Okay. Because I just wanted some clarification because I missed a couple story beats.
No, you're good. I got you always. As I literally keep up with everything wrestling, AEW ad nauseum every week on Dynamite, everything else highlights. And that's every company.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I can put Swerve into the mix, but yeah, all roads lead to Ospreay winning at All In. So yeah, I think Ospreay's winning the tournament. I don't see how he can lose the tournament or lose the finals unless Hangman gets involved and ends up costing Ospreay, but I don't see how that would make any sense.
No problem.
So yeah, I think Ospreay's taking it.
All right. I just can't right now. The thing is, MJF and Ospreay seems too damn effing obvious because it's already happened over the AEW American Championship that became international. And he won with a fucking Assassin's Creed entrance against a fucking Uncle Sam, Lex Luger, Apollo Creed, get up of MJF, America's hero. Good grief almighty. As if America doesn't have enough controversy, not going down that rabbit hole. But it's just one of those things right now that, yes, I definitely think that you have to have Will Ospreay at Wembley, or they're going to riot worse than VAR at a football game probably in that country. If you know, you know, folks. I got to go with Ospreay here. No offense to Swerve Strickland, but I expect this to be downright bloody, battering, bruising, and I expect him to fight for his damn life like it depends on it, because that's how dangerous Swerve's trying to demonstrate he's going to be in pursuing of it. And honestly, I want to be one-on-one definitive, considering both men's hunger, history, and the fact that Ospreay has not beaten this man one-on-one yet in their respective careers in over 10 years, including across all elite wrestling. I gotta go with Ospreay. It's Ospreay or literally you ruined your ace. Tanahashi retired in January. I don't want to see Will Ospreay retire his chance at the AEW World Championship before Wembley. I'm just saying. Ospreay for the win. Emmanuel, we're on you now. What do you got to say regarding this match?
I mean, there's nothing much else to say. Like, I think we're going to be all unanimous that Will Ospreay should win. There's no reason why it's to beat George Strickland at this point. If Will Ospreay's going to beat the babyface of AEW, just let him win. Let him win and Wembley eventually and everything like that. It's going to be hard to... I hope there's diversity in the future for Will Ospreay, because like then you kind of don't want to alienate and be like Cody Rhodes publicly saying I'm the babyface of WWE, because no one wants to hear that. Like, and you're just gonna push away fans, and just like hopefully he has diversity, he has opponents, he brings the matches up and make fire burners that we know that he's capable of doing, and just let's see where it goes. Like, and because if Will Ospreay like loses, I don't know what you do at that point. What do you do with Ospreay? Like, does he get his redemption and redemption? I don't know. Like, what do you do? I don't know.
I mean, how many extra lives, how many different continues do you put into the machine before it stops working or before it gets too old to play at a game again? I'm just saying. I thought last year might have been it, but Texas, everything they did made sense. I do not need to see a situation this year where Ospreay, who doesn't have any title, who is on another road to redemption in a different story arc with help from his freaking arch nemesis, group included, where it ends up being enough of a butt kiss and another paradigm shift that puts him on the shelf for another 6 months. It's now or never, in my opinion. He needs to go all or nothing at all in, not at Forbidden Door. He has to win, in my opinion. All right, well, thank you, Emmanuel. All right, Nick, that's why I saved you for last, because I feel like here, this is the one thing that everybody has said that even you can deem makes sense, and even the result that I'm sure you're going to say has to make sense here, and everything you're trying to set up for redemption and freaking all in as we start the summer of AEW. So simply put, Ospreay, Swerve, say your pick.
I am playing the Emmanuel card.
You swerving us?
Are you swerving me, boy? Or are you on something that I don't know that Canada has?
I have Swerve Strickland winning the Owen Hart Cup.
What the fuck?
And hear me out. We've all said this is Will's tournament to lose.
Yes.
How much of a ride does Tony want to take us? I think, and they'd have to tell the story in a certain way, But after kind of thinking about it, I feel like, because listen, Swerve's thing is always about power. He wants power in AEW. That's all he's been looking for is power.
Yes.
Well, how much more power do you need than having the right to be in the main event of your biggest show of the year? I think I think there has to be some way or somehow. I don't know how they should do it, but I can see them doing Swerve Strickland versus Kenny, that being the announced match, and then just before All In happens, somehow you add in Will Ospreay and you make it a triple threat match.
Sounds like regardless, you're just trying to get a triple threat match booked at All In versus the singles.
Why not?
I mean, It hasn't been done yet.
No.
It hasn't been done yet. Okay.
So, you do Will versus Kenny versus Swerve, and that moment there is where Will finally pins Swerve Strickland.
Wow. All right then. Just when I thought that I couldn't get a crazier curveball tonight, you dropped that shit, and it actually is very compelling. Thank you, Nick. Dave, I see your hand up. What you got to say real quick before we move on after that bombshell prediction to our main event? Sheesh.
The only way I see that happening, the only way, is if we get swerved, and after all this help that the Death Riders have given Will, they turn on him. That's the only way, because I see, you still see a couple of the guys in the Death Riders are not, well, one in particular that's really not a pro Will guy, and that's back. You haven't really seen him be friendly towards them. Everybody else has. But I mean, I think that's the only way you see Will lose this match, is if the Death Riders turn on him, because Nana's going to get involved in this match. There's no doubt about it. He did the other night when he caused him to get the house call against him after he tripped up Will. And I still think also you go by wrestling 101 with that, because Swerve got the upper hand at the end. And so I don't see that happening. It's a good go out there to have Tony totally swerve us with that, but I don't see that happening.
It could be a thing. They could really, you can really tell the story of, Will's been in the Death Riders and he's been learning, but is he ready to do what needs to be done to get to the main event? And
you mean like the kill shot, because Swerve has proved that against Hangman. I mean, there's been several matches to that effect, and he's always saying he's the most dangerous man in AEW too.
He had the kill shot since Lucha Underground. You both make very compelling points, and now at the forefront of the story of the AEW World Championship, if you're trying to remove MJF from the equation, the three men at the forefront right now are Swerve, Ospreay, and Omega, with Jon Moxley playing outside puppeteer, master manipulator with what he's trying to create, the most dangerous weapon in Will Ospreay, who has yet to hold the championship.
What move has Swerve Strickland been using to finish matches? What move haven't we seen Will Ospreay use, because he himself has said it is too dangerous?
The Tiger Driver.
Because he used it against Daniel Bryan. The Daniel Bryan move.
So what if the only move to put away Swerve is the Tiger Driver 91, but still can't do it? Will that be a message to John to tell him that maybe you are not ready? Maybe you're not ready. And the only way for him to be ready is to hit the Tiger Driver 91 on Mox.
If the Death Ground gets put into play prior to that, I could definitely see that being the death note to the Owen Competition tournament, Will Ospreay does what he needs to do versus what he wants to do to finally go all in. How bad are you willing to achieve a dream versus a lust for power? That's the story of this year's Owen Competition tournament final, period. Wow, guys, well done. And a hell of a story you wrote, Nick. I'll give you that.
But let's be real. I think, I mean, that's what we wish. We wish that.
Well,
Tony
you
would,
wish. I didn't conceive
Yeah.
that, honestly.
It goes back to what JJ usually says. My heart would love a story like that, but my brain at the end of the day, it's probably going to be Will. But I mean, just imagine what television we'd get from Redemption to All In if they just put a little bit more effort into it.
If that story does happen, not during that time, but some point down the line, full credit goes to Nick Ferrante's follow on the X Day and support his missus work, because that sounds fucking amazing. Now I need to see a triple threat with Swerve, Ospreay, and freaking Omega before any of those men are done. That needs to happen now, just period. Okay.
And throw in Adam Page and do a fatal 4-way then.
You know what? They start off the year, ironically. That's a fair point. But again, let's wait and see. That being said, I'm amazed we haven't even talked about the other man, which is why I saved him for last, because figure about this. All those names you mentioned, none of those names are mentioned in this match, and he already got maybe 4 people breathing down his neck in this match alone. With that being said, a lot of fun, unique fantasy booking. I love the fact that pretty much everything almost was polarizing predictions, except for Shota Umino versus Pac, but we got a great TED Talk from Ash, so that was price of admission itself. But let's go ahead and move right into what's probably going to be our main event, because you got to structure something around the ring as big as what you did last year in the O2. Let's talk about this steel cage match. But at the forefront, it is Mark Briscoe and MJF. Where Mark Briscoe wins, he will get a shot at the AEW World Championship. The Triple B, held by everyone's favorite scumbag, MJF. Maxwell Jacob Freeman. It's Team MJF versus Conglomeration. Darby Allin, Cadoza, the Cash Guys. MJF invests in Don Callis and the Don Callis family. Andrade Igalo, Jake Doyle, not Jake something. Kevin Knight, the TNT champion. Kazuchika Okada, Rainmaker. Beach. Kyle Fletcher, the Proto Star, and of course the man at the front. MJF, the AEW World Champion. He goes after Mark Briscoe, Kadoza Takeshita, Darby Allin, Roderick Strong, Freshly Squeezed Orange Cassidy, and Kyle O'Reilly, who may not be trios champions if tomorrow night Collision they lose the Ops. Highly unlikely and unlikely. I mean, Saturday. All right, guys. So, yeah, we got Konosuke ousted by the Don Callis family. Thanks to Brutal Okada. Kyle Fletcher targeting Konosuke's AEW National Championship. Darby Allin targeting Kevin Knight. Not the TNT title necessarily. Maybe Kevin Knight's life. We got Andrade El Idolo. How do you know? Who still wants the AEW World title, does not want to be the Mind Man or be on MJF's payroll. And at the forefront, you got Mark Briscoe, who's been seeking what he believes is destiny after kicking MJF's ass last year, which you saw live, Nick, at All Out in a Tables and Tax match that led to MJF finding the devil in himself again, coming back last year at World's End, where his new world begun, immediately was taken out from underneath him, and brought back at Double or Nothing. And Kadoza Takeshita, it's all in warfare against the Don Callis family. The bottom line is this. You're going to get some arcs out of this match into Redemption regarding maybe not just the AEW World Championship, maybe not just the AEW National Championship, but maybe the Don Callis family implosion that we all think is imminent. Nick, you want to start things off because I see you already ready to bid us a fine-eyed dude. So please lend your thoughts towards which team you have winning this steel cage match to, knowing what's on the line, knowing what it could mean, not only at Redemption, but also all in Wembley. You got Team MJF or Team Mark Briscoe winning?
I got Mark Briscoe's team winning. Just makes sense. Mark needs that championship match, and hopefully they kind of do it sooner rather than later. We got more important things to take care of. Yeah. So I got Team Briscoe winning. And with that being said, I am going to wish y'all adieu.
Thank you so much, Nick. Again,
love you guys.
Folks.
Good night, Nick. Nice meeting you.
See you guys.
Goodbye and good night. Get some sleep.
Night,
You're about
Nick.
to pass out. Bang. And then number 5. Thank you, Nick. Again, we got to get a Burger King type logo theme plug for him and his missus stuff. Just saying, producer man. All right. Thank you, Nick. All right, let's go around the horn and see what things here. Again, folks, we talked a lot about Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland, Kenny Omega, Death Riders, playing influence here, maybe wanting to dictate the actual work ethic of the AEW World Championship again without one of them holding it, or maybe they're generally trying to invest in Ospreay. I think it's more of the sooner. And MJF has already promised if his team wins, Kevin Knight, fine, kid, you get a shot. I don't think Andrade and MJF work well together. How you know? Because he decked him last night on Dynamite, and then he got dropped with a J Driller. The one move, by the way, that MJF has yet to kick out of. Mark Briscoe hit him with it last night where there was no match involved, but it could very well lead to AEW Championship implications. Just saying. All right, let's go around the horn and see what the rest of you think. Dave, as the latest member of the Simply Predicting family, welcome, by the way. Len, your thoughts next. Do you agree with what Nick says? Is it as simple as that? Does it make sense? Or does MJF oust him once and for all from the AEW Championship picture with so much else going on between here, Redemption, Beach Break, and, of course, going all in? What do you think?
Thank you. No, I appreciate again having me on too. I think not only is the good guys going to win, Briscoe will probably get the title match, and it'll probably be a Dynamite. I don't think it'll be a pay-per-view. And I think the one that's sitting in Callis's family that's going to take the fall, I think, is Jake Doyle. I think he's the one that's taking the fall. Also,
he is an anomaly.
also, I think Andrade. I'm not sure if it's going to be here. We know he's going to turn somewhere along the line because he's being passed over by Kevin Knight, the new guy, being passed over by everybody. MJF basically went right over him the other night, and I think he could cost them the match. Also, I just think after he got hit with the diamond ring the other night, I think it's probably going to be Andrade costing them the match too.
All right. That being said, 2 for Team Mark Briscoe. All right. Let's see here. Emmanuel. Wow, this actually is really pretty polarizing. I'm impressed here. 61%. That's the majority. Went with Team Mark Briscoe. But 40% went with MJF. Again, it almost is 50-50. So, Emmanuel, also, speaking about Kevin Knight, Kyle Fletcher, they kind of butted heads when Kevin Knight was introduced to Kyle's family, considering Kevin Knight is holding what Kyle Fletcher once coveted so dearly with a pink strap. Now, right now, the whole idea of going after Konosuke Takeshita might change his narrative, but then again, Okada, he also had his hands on that title too after they ousted Konosuke. I'm just saying, we're talking about triple threats here. I think there's another one on the horizon that might be sooner rather than later. Emmanuel, though, what team do you got here in the steel cage match?
Yeah, I still have Mark Briscoe and team to win this, Noah. Only because didn't MJF win and Kyle's family win a tag team match?
They did. 2 weeks ago on Dynamite,
Yeah.
they did.
Okay, just to confirm before I said anything else. And that just makes it more obvious that this is the outcome that we're going to have, because eventually there has to be dissension between MJF and the Cows family, this union or teammate or whatever partnership, if you want to call this, is not going to last that long. MJF really deserves better than a cage match. Let's face facts, Noah. This is not for MJF. MJF should be defending his title, not in this stupid match. But it is what it is. He's a team player. He's going to do what is being asked. It's just a shame that he couldn't be doing something else.
Of course. I mean, again, though, the fact that he is now, of course, a 3-time AEW World Champion to being Darby on Darby or nothing, there's that. But it also sounds like we're already changing the guard again very shortly. Just maybe not with Mark Briscoe winning. Dave, I do see your hand real quick. What you guys say before I give it to JJ? You're muted. Botch.
We're live, pal.
We're live, pal.
No. I think the reason that you're seeing this match is because I think they gotta hide MJF a little bit, because I still think it may not be a serious thing, but I think he has a knee injury, and I think they're trying to hide it, and that's why that match.
I'm just gonna say this real quick before I give it to JJ. Stop doing a fucking powerbomb over your knee. Anyway.
My rebuttal is this: like, is it really a wise idea if he is legit injured in his knee? Is it really a wise decision, Tony, to have him in the cage match? Just say.
He might be outside most of the match too. He may not. He may get knocked outside and lay down for a while too.
He also might just hide in the corner for all we know and have literally the people he invested in do the work.
Exactly. He's paying them. That's how MJF is. That's his shtick is let everybody pay somebody and let them do the work, like the Hurt business or the Hurt sin to get earlier.
And he'll be on commentary for half the match.
I can see that honestly, just to piss off Tony Schiavone, and God bless Tony Schiavone, the most unbiased, just don't give zero fucks, working 50 years in the business still. Again, JR, God bless you, man, but you need to take a step back. And shout out to Rebel, by the way. Please show support for her, Rebel Hart.
I watched Schiavone before most of you were born, so.
I got gray hair on my side, in case you're wondering, and I'm 34 years old, but okay, I'll take that.
Hey, I'm almost 60. I'm going to be 60 this year, so I've got some years in you.
God bless you, KJ. You're no longer the oldest.
Woohoo!
That being said,
hey, I don't mind being the oldest. That's all right. You got. Hey, gotta respect the elders.
You're the most seasoned. You're the wisest. You're the most seasoned. So there you go. We got the.
I'm the wise man. Yeah.
The Emmanuel, the most seasoned, and the most creative. That being said, let's go to the most creative. Hi, JJ. Your thoughts on this? I mean, Kyle Fletcher, Okada, Konosuke. You could figure out that triangle however you want. The reduce, reuse, recycle. But Mark Briscoe, MJF, something's got to give here. Close the book on this. Yeah, there it is. Right about Doyle, the Doyle, he's here. You got freaking Andrade Eagle, how you know, and MJF and Don Callis. Call that what it is. And then you got Kevin Knight and maybe Kyle Fletcher and Kevin Knight and MJF. All of these moving parts and Doyle. Yeah, does it not feel like this Jenga tower is just one piece away from falling over, called the Don Callis family under MJF's payroll? What do you got to say regarding the steel cage match? What team do you got?
So this match is interesting because I've talked a couple times about Omega winning the title at Redemption.
Yes.
But if there's one reason for Omega to not win the title at Redemption, it's the fact that Andrade may cost MJF the match, setting up El Idolo versus Maxwell Jacob Friedman at Grand Slam Mexico.
How many times have we heard Don Callis says, just play along, just wait, and I will make sure you get your title match. You remember the last time that someone wanted to play on Don Callis' schedule and win the business for themselves? What did that lead to? Oh, yeah. Konosuke winning a championship and then being ousted by the Don Callis family the hard way. But nonetheless, who's a champion? Anyway, continue.
And then you can go ahead and bring that down. Yes. And then in regards to when Briscoe would get his title opportunity.
Beach break, Wednesday, July 8th.
That way you squeeze that in before Redemption.
Yep.
It's a TV special, so it would make sense for MJF to defend it on it.
I'd be for it. We're calling it. And yes, folks, we will be covering it. Maybe I won't be in a suit. Well, actually, I still will be. I'm always going to be in a suit. But
I think for Beach Break, you ought to break tradition and wear like a tank top and sunglasses.
What?
It's Beach Break, man. Take a break
I ain't gonna do that shit.
And wear some beach attire.
I don't got no beach attire. I got short sleeve polos.
Okay, then do a short sleeve polo at the very least and sunglasses. Sun's out, guns out, Noah.
Maybe. No one needs to see these, all right? They're freaking twigs. But okay, JJ, continue your thoughts.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's obvious that Briscoe's team is going to get the dub, I think, because then you set up another title defense for Max between here and Redemption. Like I said, you probably do it at Beach Break. You're not going to do it at Dynamite in San Diego the Wednesday after this.
Not unless MJF just wants to literally get this done real quickly. I mean, if MJF's controlling the narrative, I'm just saying.
But MJF is controlling the narrative. He's not going to go through a cage match and then 3 days later put his title on the line. He's going to make Briscoe wait as long as possible.
That's fair, actually. I can see that.
And,
like, you can
and again, Beach Break is a special. It's not a pay-per-view, but it's a TV special.
Mm,
and it'll be right before Redemption. So it makes sense to squeeze it in there. That way you can still build towards what is probably going to be Omega versus Max at Redemption.
Fairway to Hell had Darby Allin versus Pac for the AEW World Championship, so TV specials have definitely had the title on the line.
But I think this match is going to definitely set up the one match with Briscoe's team winning, and then potentially set up the second match in Andrade versus MJF at Grand Slam Mexico.
Which would actually be after Redemption, because I believe that is August 5th, which is also between and before All In.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. All right, we're setting up the summer for MJF, and it's not looking like a happy one. No good vibrations for him. Well, at least he's got Alicia too. All right, thank you, JJ. That right now, definitively, it's still Team Art Briscoe, which just leaves our Canadian friend Ash. So Ash, bring it home. Team Art Briscoe versus Team MJF. What falls apart first besides Mark Briscoe's own epidermis against the steel cage? I'm expecting this Briscoe to bleed, man. What do you guys say regarding this? And let's also put this out there. Tomohiro Ishii was assaulted prior to this. You know that Don Callis and Don Callis' family are going to have a plan to try and isolate a man out of this. As we've seen in insert steel cage match with teams here, how many times you try and take advantage without even having a woman-up advantage, and still somehow you get fucked. Hello, Black and Gold NXT with freaking Undisputed Era versus Ricochet, Pete Dunne, and War Raiders. Most recent example for me, I'm just saying, but that's all different cards another day. But I expect my boy to come back with a vengeance. But go ahead and lend your posters this.
I was gonna say, I have also Team Briscoe winning as well, setting up for Beach Break.
Ash will be in her own beach attire during that call, I assure you.
I won't be able to because I have assistant manager duties that day. I'm going to be closing up shop.
Closing time, and it sounds like we're calling closing time on MJF's run at All In, but that again is hindsight, not a reality, and I'm just messing with you. But all right,
also, Redemption, I might be able to do for Redemption. I won't know for certain because right now I don't have any assistant manager duties, but they might have me doing other duties that day. So that's pending right now. So I'll keep y'all posted when the time comes.
As always, prioritize passions, protect your mentality, and just do your best when you can. But I expect MJF is not going to enjoy Sunday night after this.
No, not at all.
Look at this friggin' matchup, by the way. We talked about everybody on the opposite team except Doyle. It's like the extra person that used to be in Evolution before Randy Orton took the spot, or who else was a body inside a freaking faction. I think you brought that up once with the...
It was Batista that took the spot. It was Mark Jindrak originally in the vignette.
Yeah.
Hey, no, I mentioned Doyle. I said he was going to get pinned.
He did. That's
You're
true,
right.
yeah.
That's fair.
That's Doyle's role. Is the pin here.
He's Austin Theory. He's Austin Theory of the Callis family.
Oh. That's fired.
That's just wrong.
Oh, I think I knocked JJ out. Wow.
Am I like the only person here that actually likes Austin Theory?
Pretty much.
It's not that I don't hate the guy. I just don't really care for him. He just gives me nothing. He's how I am towards Hangman Adam Page and Caleb Newman is the same way I'm towards Austin Theory. They just do nothing for me.
Nothing.
Not a damn.
But she's not wrong, though. Like, seriously, he's like, he's a body. He's there. But that's always been the trope with each faction. Look at how many times Bobby Fish got injured during the Undisputed Era while Roderick Strong, Adam Cole, and Kyle O'Reilly led the way. It's been a trope for every faction in wrestling history. There's always been, it's this guy. It's this guy. It's this guy. Even in the Shield, despite all three of their success efforts, John Monty was still like, it's this guy. or excuse me.
Yeah, he
Dean
was the
Ambrose.
third guy, definitely. He was
Now,
definitely
honestly,
the
though,
third guy.
AEW, whole different effing story.
Mhm.
All right. With that being said, though, he's not involved in this. How ironic, by the way. 2 years been in a row, ending in a steel cage match. Last year went all out. This year, sanction. So we know it's not going to be as bloody lethal, or gummy bears won't be involved. But regardless,
Now,
we got Mark Briscoe winning.
What's up, that's going to be hard with 12 people in one cage instead of like in the WWE, they'd have the double cage with War Games. This one's all in one cage with 12 guys. It's going to be a best.
AEW, if you remember last year, they did the steel cage literally surrounding the outside premise of the ring, and it wasn't like fully closed in or fully up. So there was still more than enough in ring area for all 12 men. And let's just keep in mind, we already saw all 12 men, for example, inside the ring area, freaking collide with every damn finish they had in their arsenal possible. This past Wednesday on Dynamite, it was like a domino effect.
That's true.
This guy gets blasted. This guy's blasted. This guy gets blasted. And then the angle between Andrade and MJF, where to, I believe everyone's point, Andrade got decked with the 100K Dynamite Diamond ring.
Yeah.
So again,
knew that was going to happen too. It just,
of course we all knew.
It's as our friend Aaron Riff says, it's even Stevie Wonder saw that one coming.
And about to say, talk about the blind leading the blind. Add Ray Charles to the mix, well, don't you? And that's still a better combination than Don Callis and MJF. Regardless, this is just going to be fun to call, and this is just going to be a clusterfuck of nonsense. Team Mark Mark Briscoe for the win, and then set up Darby Allin versus Kevin Knight, and Kazuchika Takeshita versus Shuko Okada and Kyle Fletcher, and MJF versus Andrade El Idolo down the line, and see who leads the Don Callis family next. But that being said, that's Forbidden Door. So again, folks, what are your predictions? What are your thoughts? Do you see someone else stepping through? Does somebody shining the brighter outside AEW? Who goes all in and does redemption cause for revenge, ascension, or a whole different level of a whole different dynamic of progression? All these and so much more of what ifs to figure about starts this Sunday at Forbidden Door, and me and Ash will be calling it live here at the Sid Baba Studio, so stay tuned for more on that. But with that being said, thank you so much once again, everybody, for tuning in. Let's go ahead and do our applause and get the fuck out of here and get some sleep before we go any further into this insane madness that is an AEW pay-per-view that we all thrive off of, or at least I do, because I'm crazy. Dave, an absolute pleasure having you participating for the first time ever. May it not be your last. Please tell where the people can find you and connect with you and what you do.
Thank you, Noah. Definitely, I'd love to be on again. And it was, again, nice seeing you and JJ. And JJ's seen me a lot in the last week. And it's great meeting Ash and Emmanuel and Nick, of course. Happy to be on anytime. But you can find me on our buddy Gino's wrestling station, Major Push Wrestling, which Noah does a great prediction show with him after the review of everything of the prediction league. Afterwards, it's on nodq.com, and a big shout out to Aaron Rift. If it wasn't for him, I would have been had the pleasure of meeting JJ and Noah and a lot of the other gang that we hang with, and it's a great community of wrestling. And again, I appreciate you guys for having me on, and thank you so much.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure, Dave. And thank you again, and continue to just keep enjoying life and enjoying wrestling. And you're always welcome back or anytime on Silly Predicting. If you want to go to bed or get your birds some rest, you're more than welcome to disconnect, by the way, too, as we just conclude these shenanigans. Thank you so much again.
I'm on vacation. I'll say to you, I'm on vacation.
All right, good deal. I welcome that too, but I always know, again, based on people's times, we all need Z's, and I literally got to get up for work in 5 hours, but this is my dedicated madness to this forum that I love doing. So again, thank you. Emmanuel, you pull the Emmanuel card again, as you do on every occasion. The day that you're on Sleeping Dinner that you don't do it, that's the day it's officially retired. Go ahead and tell where the people can find you, engage with you.
When did I even agree with that statement?
I made it official. I'm the damn host here.
Anyways, you can find me at Interactive Games and Movies. Hopefully, you two could be nice. Like, give me something. Like, don't say just say no. Yeah, don't say it's blocked. It's copyrighted because and I'm not showing anything. Like, it's just me watching the movie. So work with me, YouTube. Like, and the other channels get away with it. They actually show footage. What's up with that?
What's up with that? Freaking pulling a
Yeah.
hurricane.
But you can also find me at Facebook at Emmanuel Dominguez, EDN7324 at Instagram. You can follow my daughter my sister Arlene Dominguez on Facebook, Arlene Dominguez on Instagram, and ADN72244 at the X. And I can say that right now because she's at work, so she can't beat me up, and it's not in the vicinity.
Watch, the chocolate's gonna fly into the frame here any moment.
No, she's actually not here, so.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Thank you, Emmanuel. Ash, as always, appreciate your baddie takes. Always appreciate you.
Thank
I'm looking
you.
very forward to calling this prayer with you. But go ahead and tell what the people can further engage and find you.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you, Dave. You can find, it's nice meeting you, Dave. You can find me on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, at ShadowBadAsh, occasionally talking in the spaces once again, but mostly listening in. And subscribe to my YouTube channel at Baddie for Wrestling. Don't be a dickhead.
Dickhead. There it is.
Thank you, Ash. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and again, because Dave did mention it, shout out to my fellow statistician analysis breakdown bruv in Papagino, following Papagino 17 a day on the YouTube. The major push, particularly breakdown in the Rocket League all summer long. Follow Papagino today. Appreciate you, bruv. See you Monday evening for NOC. All right. Thank you, Ash. Now, let's go ahead and put the rest of the crew here. Shout out first and foremost to the Rage Wrestling Walter Cruz, Mr. Reliable. You saw him in the chat. Let's get to 300 and let's go ahead and kill his liver, crazy son of a bitch. As he and his missus will have hot stuff and hot wings, and I will MC the madness that ensues inside their guts. Burning desires, apparently, by that man. So subscribe today to Rage Wrestling, Walter Cruz. There you see it on the X, Walter Alex Cruz, and the mothership, if you will, the Rage of Wrestling. That being said, also check out our other queen of the SRS here, Thekla. When it's wrestling time at Raiders of Wrestling on YouTube, on Twitch, and Thekla on the X, Thekla _ by the way. Don't forget it. I feel like I said that before in a bygone life. And as you saw by the tag we had earlier, if you want more anime, pop culture reference, or a Mighty Morphin take, follow her new venture at PC Powerbomb. That is Pop Culture Powerbomb on the X today. And stay tuned when, of course, her podcast forum launches and brings you further pop culture outlooks and fun takes. It's sure to be a mighty fun time. Guests will likely be included, not me. I'm hashtag anti-pop culture if you haven't figured it out already. All right. Well, that being said, let's go ahead and bring JJ to the soiree. One of the other hardworking men here. Again, I call him brand ambassador. I call him literally a pioneer of the family. I also call him, once again, he is the renegade of wrestling for a reason. Damn it. JJ, go ahead and plug and tell where the people can find you, despite your graphic. That still annoys me because, again, I would never believe in it. Under credit, glass closed down.
Well, hold on. Before you go throwing up that graphic, in honor of the show that we predicted tonight, I say we go a little bit old school.
You know what? That's fair. There it is. Dave's never seen that, probably.
He's never seen either one, but, you know.
No, I haven't.
That's from last year.
You can find me on X at ROWJJ Williams or Casa D18 Studio. You can find me on YouTube at Casa D18 Studios with an S on YouTube, no S on X. You can find me on Instagram at the Renegade JJ Williams. Also, of course, follow the Simply Reliable Studios on X, as that's where we post all of our huge announcements. That's where we do live streams and watch-alongs and interviews, and I believe this is actually going across there right now as well. So, you know.
Oh, well, there you go. Thank you all so
Speaking of interviews, make sure you go into the archives, as earlier this evening we talked to Royal Prestige, Tavon Jordan, and Majestic, the Pro Wrestling Symphony Tag Team Champions based out of Tennessee. Was a fun hour and 45-minute interview that included Dragon Kai. That is Sensei Wade and Student Colin crashing the interview, starting shit with Royal Prestige, which ended up in a match being announced for July 11th's Pro Wrestling Symphony Free-For-All show, where Royal Prestige will defend their titles against Dragon Kai.
Good boy.
So all that was set up on our show, on our interview. Go back, check that out. It was an awesome interview. And then check out our merch. We actually have a merch store now. You can find it there at that URL. Bam! We've got Simply Reliable Studio shirts built in our regular logo. We've got a Bones type design for Halloween. We've got a Christmassy style design.
Look at this guy.
We've got our Saturday Shenanigans shirt. We've got one for the Rage of Wrestling.
He's been busy.
We've got another Walter Cruz one, I Speak Typo. And then we have our We Want Mina shirt.
Oh, bloody hell.
And yes, you can purchase an Emmanuel card t-shirt. As well as stickers, coffee mugs, and even women's designs, not just men's designs. All at that link right there. And then if you go to the description on YouTube, you can just click the link and you'll be directed straight to the store.
You have to remember to put that in by default in the link in YouTube from now
I
on.
do.
In any description. Oh, okay.
I do. And
All
then
right.
because he's not here and he never remembers anyway, check out Nick's wife's IG, feeling.book, where she reviews some, we'll just call them, for lack of a better term, trashy romance novels.
I would be kind of say exotic, but I mean,
But
that is more accurate.
feeling.book is her IG. Nick never remembers it, but God damn it, we're going to put her over.
Yeah, she's as much of a member of the Super Studios family as Nick himself. All right.
Maybe even more of one, because she's more tolerable.
Ash, what was your handle on YouTube again? I'll go follow you.
It's a Baddie for Wrestling.
Baddie for Wrestling, okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I don't upload
Okay.
as frequent, so just giving you a heads up. But thank you for subscribing.
And again,
Oh,
stay tuned.
definitely.
Stay tuned when Ash and I do a batting bracket breakdown for G1 Climax regarding the opening day and the field this year. Date and time to be determined, but stay tuned. It might even be live. And thank you for that, JJ. Again, we'll talk more about that later. We've got to get through Forbidden Door first. And this weekend, God help me, or Lord help me. Again, a Christian. Again, thank you all for tuning in.
I know. What else do you have lined up for yourself this weekend, Noah? Because this is not the last prediction show for you, is it?
No, it's not. This is about as busy as I've been since WrestleMania, and I will get there shortly. Thank you, JJ. Great segue, and thank you all for tuning in. If you want to engage with me, find me on the X and on YouTube if you try and if you choose and if you dare. And then Foster in 1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out to W Fam. For I am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! And again, to JJ's point, I'm bloody crazy. You've seen 2 super days this week. You got 2 more coming. In fact, one comes tomorrow night. Stay tuned, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we will be predicting Night of Champions, ahead of our coverage on Saturday afternoon that will be headlined by Walter Alex Cruz and Jeff Mother Effin Meacham. And then once Night of Champions concludes in Saudi Arabia, one last city predicting to include your weekend with the impact we want to leave, as we simply predict TNA Slammiversary. That will be at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday afternoon, and then you all could rest and enjoy both of those shows, of course, of Slammiversary and Forbidden Door come Sunday night. And again, after this whole weekend, previews conclude, and to my knowledge, the only one we're calling live. Yes, JJ, I see your hand.
Go ahead and do your thing first. I'll just bring it up afterwards. I just wanted you to know I needed to.
Oh, all right, fair enough. And as always, again, stay tuned after these weekend previews conclude, as I will do Predictions League breakdown with Papadino for W9 Champions, 10 of the 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Monday night, and of course AEW Forbidden Door, tentatively 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Wednesday night ahead of Major Push Wrestling. As I believe the upcoming Dynamite is a standard Dynamite that will not be a live watch-along show, despite the Survivor Fittest match I think taking place. Again, good luck to Micah and or Sky Blue, whoever qualifies for the rest of the field. As we kind of new TBS champion and Will Nightingale, get well soon. Also, shout out to Rebel Tania. Again, that Rebel Hart still being as strong as possible in her battle against ALS, a champion during such a time of turmoil and struggle. Nothing but love to her. Mad respect. Yes, Ash, I see your hand.
I might be able to call the July G1 with you.
All right. Again, we'll talk more about that course, as again, you have so much coming up, and you guys will see that course in our upcoming watch-alongs in the watch-along schedule. But as JJ pointed out, the next Dynamite that we will be covering officially will be AEW Dynamite Beach Break after the holiday, as we celebrate the 250th year of America. As far as covers this week, we're covering Night Champions Live, and we're covering Forbidden Door Live, because priorities over passions and budgeting matters. We will not be able to cover TNS Anniversary Live or NXT Great American Bash Live due to network restraints and wallet restraints, but they will be covered on demand. I promise you all that. And for right now, that's all I really have to say. JJ, I see your camera. You got to say it real quick.
That's where I wanted to piggyback. I am still waiting on confirmation from Walter and Nick, but in addition to doing Forbidden Door on Sunday, we may be doing a GCW double feature, as there is America's Most Wanted this Saturday at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, because they're out here in LA. Obviously, that would conflict with Shenanigans. And then they're doing their Sunday show, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. So there is conversation being had about doing America's Most Wanted, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, kind of as a lead into Forbidden Door.
Nice.
And then doing the Sunday show as a simulcast while Forbidden Door is happening. So
all the wrestling.
Be on the lookout for the X accounts, because it will be announced on there if we are doing it. If we have confirmation by the Slammiversary, simply predicting, since that is Saturday, then I'll announce it there. But make sure you're keeping your eye on the X, because we'll announce it there if we do it. But that's the other thing I wanted to bring up. Considering the fact that wallets and TV constraints are an issue, we may be doing the GCW double feature, 2 shows one day. I think the last time we did that was when a former companion of ours and I did TOS and Cage of Survival from last year, all on the same day. So,
well, again, Survivor Studios looking to be your most reliable, honest, but open industry-wide coverage for all things professional wrestling, from the backyards to the big stages, to the independents, to the big two, to everything in between, including but not limited to HOG, OVW, freaking Prestige, freaking Pro Wrestling Symphony, House of Glory, you name it. We will do our best to bring you some inclusive coverage or knowledge or fun outlook inside it, because that's the love of the business that we want to demonstrate.
You know what? Since you brought up the backyard, I was going to let you get out of here and end this, but you brought up the backyards. So I have to bring this up because it was announced last night in my impromptu space that I did that come July, let me double check the date here on my calendar, July 2nd, we will be having Nasty Leroy join the show, be doing an interview. He is a former student of the Nightmare Academy, and part of the reason why we're doing this, tying into the backyard, is he is on the poster there for the GCW Backyard Wrestling Show.
That's a give me.
So we figured what better time to bring him on and finally get him in for an interview than the fact that he was being promoted on the GCW poster. But you mentioned backyard, that triggered that in my head. There we go. Nasty Leroy, someone that Ash and I have interacted with for the better part of the last year plus. And we're finally going to get to have a sit-down interview with him.
If that doesn't scream you an ass at the forefront, I don't know what does, but that's freaking awesome. And again, we're here.
This man has what he calls a rat bastard list. Which is all the wrestlers that he has issues with, most of them on a personal level, kind of like in the Bucks. So listening to him divulge his rat bastard list and why everybody is on there, including your current reigning and defending AEW World Heavyweight Champion, should be enough of a reason to make you want to tune in and enjoy that interview.
Yeah, Leroy's rat bastard list is very similar to Cornette's shit list, and Leroy's always in the spaces. He's a frequent guest in all of our spaces, so check him out for the interview. Nasty Leroy's a cool person.
Like I mentioned
cool.
yesterday that the Bucks are on my rat bastard list, and he was like, "You have a rat bastard list too?" I was like, "No, I just don't like them," and I figured I'd pop you by using that terminology. And he's like, "You did pop me."
All right. Well, that being said, I'm going to finally deflate this plug train and finally put us into the station with big way of find that Duke as I conclude with this. As always, folks, there are no winners, no losers, no bears, just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, treasure your families, and just enjoy life, enjoy professional wrestling. It's truly as simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, whether you watch this live for the whole time or some of the time, or you're watching it on demand, because you all continue to make this possible. Cheers to 175 episodes of this. Thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. Hit the bell as it goes live on any of the channels here across the Level Studios. Follow us on the XDA if you haven't already. And hit the subscribe button and the bell. And I assure you, the content, creativity, the shenanigans, the madness, the bookings, the predictions, the interviews, and the ongoing festivities that we bring you forward here are not going to let up anytime soon. What is going to finally let up is all of us on your screen as I bid you all now a fine adieu. And shout out to the 25 you so far putting in predictions, including people on screen. Of course, you all will have the form sent to you privately. And it will be in the comment section down below after these feeds concludes, if y'all haven't done it already, for those that have tuned in. On behalf of Nick and the missus, on Ash, on Emmanuel, on Dave, on JJ, on all of you in the chat that have engaged or simply tuned in, whether you're a young punk, a sicko, a casual, or hardcore, or some sort of professional wrestling fan that's fine, or just like listening to what has become an alternative podcast for wrestling predictions, it seems, late at night. I am the son of Noah Foster, reminding you as always to make a positive impact in life. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of City Predicting. We'll see you tomorrow night, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you're on the West Coast. Friday already, here for Night of Champions, Simply Predicting. Have a good one, folks, and we'll see you very soon.
Well, my rap buster this is John Cena and Juan Cena.
Will you stop that? The two and Arlene can't get you, but you're seriously setting yourself up for a beating, Emmanuel. Good grief.
Good night, folks.